love a feeling. Why do I, baby, why do I? Why do I, baby, why do I? Why do I, baby, why do I? Love the touch but never love the feeling.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back and welcome to the home of European University Rocket League. It is, of course, EURC 2021, and it is very good to be back. I am joined, of course, myself, Tylecto, am joined with New Alaic and Stealthy Wolf. I mean, in terms New Alaic and Stealthy, both of you. I'll start with you, New Alaic. How exciting is it, just to be here in general? It feels like the wait has been so long.
It's been far too long. I'm super excited to be here. I'm super excited for the games to start. We've had some teasers over the last little while. We had some very exciting qualifier matches leading up to this. And with the quality that some of these teams showed in the qualifiers, I'm excited to see what their big brothers from their national leagues can do now that we're at the main event.
Indeed, that's true. Of course, a solid performance last year from the Dutch team, Stealthy. But, I mean, the 5 of them that have qualified, I think they're looking pretty good. But how far do you think that they can go?
I mean, individually, it's going to be hard. I think all teams do have a fair chance. And again, one thing that I look for a lot, because of course I like teams that grow. They are teams that can bring an underdog story. A good team, for example, from the side from the Dutch League is Tilburg United, and I think they can really cause an upset because Erasmus Esports, probably one of the favorites from the side from the Netherlands, to come close to, of course, the renowned champions. I think we can really ride Tilburg on there as well the moment they get going and get that experience together.
Yeah, and of course Tilburg in that Group A, and we'll get on to the groups in a second. We're just getting way too excited, as you probably want to know about the new format. What has changed from last year? Because there has been a fair amount of change, and I'm going to be honest, it's looking kind of juicy. I'm loving the look of this format. I don't know about you guys, of course. We've got 32 teams in the competition. 20, of course, were invited based off their placements domestically, and 12 came through qualifiers, which you may have seen over the previous couple months, of course. 3 qualifiers and only 4 teams got through each of them, and my goodness, the storylines have already began. The teams that got in, and of course the teams that missed out. I mean, we now have the teams in 4 different groups, A to D. That is, of course, groups of 8. And in terms of the format, though, the top 5 do get out of the group, I should say. And what's even greater is, of course, if you top the group, you get a bye in the playoff stage. But of course, the playoffs now, guys, they're double elimination, never previously done before in EURC. And if you finish 4th or 5th in the group, you can be really happy, right, in Nuelaic, but like, you start in the lower bracket. So like, it's so big, all of these group stage games, because you want to be finishing up as high as possible, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be joy tinged with a little bit of trepidation, I think, if you do get that 4th or 5th place spot, because lower bracket in any double elimination is a scary place to be. Your second life is gone, and if it's gone from the very beginning, as soon as you make it out of groups, you know, you just have no mistakes left at that point. And it's a scary position, and one a lot of these teams will be fighting to avoid. You really want to secure one of those top 3 spots where possible.
Indeed, as well. We can talk about the schedule for today here on the A stream. Let's not forget that, of course, there is also a B stream over at nsc_.gg if you want to check them out too. But it's fair to say that you're in the right place right now. How do you feel about the first matchup that we'll have on stream, Stealthy? If we can look to the schedule that we've got for today, hopefully we can get that on stream for you, of course, today, Monday the 8th of March, and our first matchup coming on just after the hour here. It will be the Dutch, of course, Esports Team 20. They're going up against the Birmingham Badgers coming out of the UK. How do you feel about that matchup, Stealthy?
I think this will really be a good precision setter, like in the sense that Twente doesn't know what to expect coming into, of course, the overall University League, because they only played the teams from the Netherlands. They didn't even play the teams from Belgium, so it's just a selected pool of, I think it was 8 teams that they had to play in the end. So it didn't really change much in the dynamics. And I think right now Badgers will also place themselves through the normal qualifiers, because Twente had to do the exact same thing. This will really be something to see where they stand against the other teams that were able to qualify.
Yeah, I do expect our first game to be such a really close matchup, but of course we'll have to wait and see. But those other 3 matches as well, UEA against TUD Apes coming out of Ireland. You've got the champions Berlin Felix going up against one of the strongest UK teams, the Kiel Krakens. And then you've got Sapienza Roma coming out of Italy, going up against the current champions from the UK, Loughborough Lions. Are there any of the matchups for today that, for you in particular, Nuelaic, stand out?
I mean, I don't think I could look Stream in the eye again if I didn't, call out the boys on the TUD Apes coming from Ireland myself. I have to be excited to see how they're going to do up against, one of the stronger teams from the UK and UEA Blue Jays. Definitely not the top at the moment. I know they're struggling a little bit domestically at the moment. They've changed rosters from a roster that was pretty dominant last year, but this roster still came 3rd in one of the recent events we saw. They came 3rd in the Society Showdown. That was an invitational, a lot of the top teams, and so it's going to be exciting to see how they match up. But I think all of the games today have potential to be fantastic series, and they all have their own unique storylines that I'm sure we'll get into as the day goes on as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't talk about how beautiful the format is enough, but we should probably move on to them groups if we talk about them, because of course the teams were seeded by a committee into 8 pools of 4. So drawing, a team from each pool for the group means that we get the 4 groups of 8. So of course, with the 12 UK teams, that means we've got 3 UK teams in each group. Then we've got 1 or 2 Dutch teams per group, and then likewise German teams as well from Uniliga. But we also, of course, have 1 Polish team per group, and then mixed in the bunch, we've got teams from the likes of course, Ireland, Finland, Italy, and Belgium. So the diversity is pretty much off the scale, right? And I mean, we can look at the first group, hopefully, for you on screen if we pull up Group A, which, of course, universally by the committee, top seed in the competition, and I think it's fair to say probably expected to take it again, but maybe not a lock-in, I would certainly say, as there is such competition that it would be easy to slip up, is of course Berlin Phoenix were in that top pot, likewise, with Tigray, Nagflo in their third kin, like I say, they're certainly favourites, but even in that group, you feel like people could certainly give them a run for their money. Like, you were mentioning Tilburg earlier, Stealthy, right? You feel like surely they've got to be excited about that matchup against Berlin, but also the likes of Kiel and UWE, right?
I mean, yeah, but then at the same time, of course, I like what we were talking about earlier. Tilburg is still one of those teams that are in baby shoes. Is what we can say. That they're in their starting position. Sure, they were able to get in into the EURC. They did it with a very dominant performance, but it was also rather close at the same time. So Tilburg still has a lot to learn before they would be able to scale up against Berlin. So, if I were in their shoes, I would just pray to the gods right now that the match against Berlin Phoenix is the very last match they have to play.
True.
Because then at that point, they might be somewhat ready.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the race is at bare minimum. You want to be finishing top 5 so that you actually get out the group, but of course, top 3 so that you can actually get into that upper bracket. And when we look at the NUIG Griffins, right, Nualeit, it feels like, at least from my perspective, it feels like they've got a big task at hand, but it's certainly fair to say that they've got more than a fighting chance, right?
Absolutely. This is one of the groups I look at, and I think it's relatively easy to kind of divide it between a top half and a bottom half. You have Berlin Phoenix, you have Tilburg United, the 2 UK teams, and Kiel and UWE looking strong up at the top there. And I think then the scrap for that 5th place, the last team to qualify out, I think it's going to be almighty in that group. And it's really going to come down to beating the teams around you, making sure you win those all-important matches against the other teams that are looking for that 5th spot.
True. I mean, I could see like a 3-way tie for 5th coming up in terms of crazy tiebreaker scenario. So let's hope that we don't have that potential headache, because of course you mentioned UWE. I just wanted to talk about them.
We do, I guess, as well.
That's true. Yeah, it's actually true. Of course, our later matchup today from Group A will be Berlin against Kiel, which is of course the Pool 1 and Pool 2 seed for this group, and what a juicy one that will be. And I just wanted to take a moment to talk about UWE because, of course, last year, EURC 2020, they were semi-finalists. Of course, now they have Time Constant as their third, alongside Sebedam and Incognito. So last year, he may not have been their first choice, but he has improved so much. And likewise, UWE in general have reflected that. And I mean, certainly domestically recently, they seem to have gone from strength to strength. And yet, in terms of seeds coming out of the UK, they were outside the top 5, top 6, which I think really, not just for the UK, but the competition in general, really speaks for, the strength of the competition right now. As, we can look across to another group. If we say, pull up Group B on stream, which, the big dogs in this pool are the Loughborough Lions, current, NSC champions in the UK. Their matchup later today, like we say, will be on stream against Sapienza Roma, coming out of Italy. Interestingly, I don't know if Matt M will be available for that match, so they'll be playing with their substitute Tom. But of course, last time Tom played for Loughborough Lions, he actually won the EUR Winter Cup, so a very capable substitute he is. But that group in general, I mean, it's just so stacked when you don't know what to expect out of the likes of Beckett, Essex, and even Erasmus, right? Because Erasmus' performance domestically in the Netherlands, right, Stealthy, they didn't, really top the division, but I think it's fair to say that most people rate them, pretty damn highly, especially due to their previous experience in EURC, right?
Well, yes and no. At the same time, the same thing that we have to take into account, I like to, is that this roster from the side from Erasmus is only one of the players from last year. Maxio is the only one that has returned Juicy, and Wizard stepped off the team. Wizard, I even think, moved university. I think he was now part of the team of Leiden, for example. But yeah, a new complete roster on Erasmus, but they were looking dominant in their own style. Erasmus had a lot of potential. Their team play wasn't the best yet, but that's definitely something they could grow in. but definitely one player to look out for on the side from Erasmus is Scalia. He has great mechanical abilities, and he would probably be one that might cause some upsets, do something that you don't expect Erasmus to do out of thin air.
Yeah, I think, I don't know how you feel about Dusseldorf, Newelleg, but it's like, with the German teams, right, it's so hard, I know, like, in terms of, like, seeding them, because it's so easy to sort of fixate on the likes of Berlin Phoenix with the teams coming out of Germany. Of course, no more kit like last year, so Dusseldorf really helping fly the flag for Germany, and, quite a high seed in this pool, of course, technically coming out of Pool 2. But when you think about the fact that 5 teams are going to get out of this pool, and you look at, personally, I look at these, those 6 teams at the top. I mean, I do hope that the Bankers and PXL can get some upsets, but like, you feel like Dusseldorf will be okay, or do you feel like that this group could really be quite difficult to actually secure that top 5 in?
There is absolutely no way you're going to weasel a prediction out of me for this group, because I have absolutely no idea how it is going to go so far. It's like you said, I said in the last group, I think it's kind of easy to cut that into a top half and a bottom half and maybe say there's going to be a tough fight for 5th. In this one, I mean, I've heard such different things. You could hear it there, my colleague talking about how it's difficult to place this Erasmus team, and I think I've heard similar things about basically all of the other teams in this group. You're telling me how Beckett Bears are on the up and up. This Essex Blades team could potentially come out and be really strong, and we kind of have no idea how to place the Italian team with Sapienza Roma up against the Miners. So it's incredibly volatile here in Group B, and I'm not going to tell you who's going to make it out, because I'm just waiting to watch the games to find out for myself.
Yeah, I like what you say. I'm so excited to see Sapienza Roma, because the only result we have on, they completely dominated the wildcard league, of course, playing the likes of Jyväskylä coming out of Finland. They had no trouble there, so the only actual results we have from them outside that is when they did play an EUR Winter Cup, but they actually fell to the Berlin Basilisks, who, they are down in Group D, and we'll make our way there eventually as we can move on to Group C. And of course, likewise, the 3 UK teams in Group C now, Bournemouth, UEA, and Durham Defenders. Of course, Durham, the latter of them, qualified through that qualifier. Last team to qualify, in fact, I think they were through the lower bracket of that final qualifier. I mean, when I talk about them UK teams, of course, though, Bournemouth and UEA previously in the championship bracket domestically in the UK last split, but, with far less success previously on the European stage. And I know in particular with UEA, they played, said last split with Queen Scots alongside KJ and Ant-Man, but now he's stepped back. So it's Zortea on the roster, and of course, we'll be seeing him play today. They did make it with that roster to semi-finals in, the pre-season Society Showdown that we talked about. But, results, as we say, have been mixed so far in NSC. They're doing okay. They're not as convincing as last season, but it is early days. But when we think about them, and again, the likes of, AES, the University of Brussels for Belgium, I think certainly we think the strongest team coming out of Belgium, but how they weigh against the likes of the Martinis, right? Stealthy, because I'm right in saying that Martini for Groningen were what most people would have considered to be the B team, and then they sort of just went and won the NBCE. So how do we feel about them and how comfortable they can be in this Group C?
See, that team of Martini is definitely a counterexample from one of the teams that have a lot of potential to grow. And that doesn't need to be a bad thing, because Martini was very strong with the point they're at right now. And mechanics is something that you can also train. It's just going to go a little bit slower. It's also going to mess up your rotations a little bit. But Martini is definitely on top of their rotations. They know how to play together. They know how to find each other in the midfield, get those passes going. It might not be the flashiest of plays, but they are still there. They're able to score, and that's their main strength.
That is fair enough, and I would love to talk about Group C, but I can see that our matchup is getting more and more ready by the moment. So, Newelleg, you said you didn't want to have to take, a surprise guess on that Group B, but I want a whistle-stop tour of Group B. We've got the likes of Group B, Group D, I should say, if we can pull that one up. We've got Portsmouth, Mojitos from Groningen as well, what used to be their A team, the Salford Lions. We've got Twente, I would say that, again, we've got a situation where we've got 6 teams fighting for 5 spots unless Jyväskylä or White Mages really, step up their game. Who do you feel like misses out, Newelleg?
You love asking me the easy questions, don't you?
I do.
Honestly, I think it's tough again, but luckily for this one, I mean, this is our first match of the evening and first match of the entire tournament that we're going to see on stream is going to be Esports Team 20 up against the University of Birmingham Badgers. And I think at that point, we're going to have a better idea, because we're saying 20 are probably the weakest Dutch team coming in. If they just comprehensively dispatch the UOB Badgers, then, you know, I think it's pretty easy to say, well, both the Dutch teams are probably getting out of this group no matter what
Very
happens.
true.
On the other hand, if UOB Badgers just destroy Esports Team 20, then it becomes a little bit harder to see at that point. So there's a lot riding on it, and I think come back to me after this first match and I'll have a much clearer answer for you.
That is true, as I think it's fair to say that we should move on to predictions for this first match. Of course, as you say, the Birmingham Badgers coming out of NSE may not be doing as convincingly domestically, but did qualify strongly. And likewise the same for Twente. I think they went through the same qualifier coming out of the Netherlands on their side, as we should be able to move on to predictions. And shall I be nice and go with my prediction first, so that way you can, you know, not feel like I'm, I'll be really kind. Okay, so I am, you know, from the UK. I am, as you know, biased. So my prediction will go to the Birmingham Badgers, which I think is a misplay. I think if I predicted against them, they might actually win, whereas now I've probably cursed them. But I will say that my bet will go on the Birmingham Badgers, as with them struggling a little bit more domestically, I know all their focus has now moved on to right here, EURC 2021, and I think they'll be desperate to get off to a good start here. As I say, that we can go to you, Stealthy, next, and we'll see who you think will be taking this first matchup.
I think it's going to be reasonably close, but I really feel like Twente has it in them to take down Birmingham Badgers. I've also played against them twice in the qualifier, and I would have to say the moment they played the first time, they were a little bit more unstable, and the second time, they were definitely working together in a better way. So I think that's definitely something that's going to help them. Of course, T1shot and Forza, reasonably known players in the Benelux scene as well, just outside of the University League. So I'm really expecting them to step up and maybe carry quiver a little bit against the Birmingham Badgers.
All right, well, last and certainly not least, I will have to force you to make a prediction here. Nirelek, you're going to have to make a choice. I'm afraid you will be the decider here on which team our desk predicts. Will it be the Badgers of Birmingham, or will it be Esports Team 20? Who will it be?
I've heard a lot of justification just for the Englishman to go with the British team and for the Dutchman to go with the Dutch team. But at the end of the day, I think I'm actually going to have to side with the Dutchman on this, because I think 20 had a slightly harder run through the qualifiers. They look convincing doing it. I'm not 100% convinced the Badgers can stand up to them in this first match.
Nirelek, I'm going to correct you. I'm Belgian. I'm not a Dutchman. That is
how could you? How could you
insult
this man?
Right, listen,
that's clear.
I'll allow you to call me English at some point tonight as well. Okay, we'll just to even it out.
Unbelievable. The team chemistry between, you know, the 20 predictors here is just not on point, whereas the team chemistry of all the people that predicted the Badgers is just on point. We are completely in sync, all one of us. And well, why should we wait any longer for this match? I am so excited to head into it, and I'll be watching it right alongside you, as it will be casted by my good friend Dennis. We'll be throwing it over to you, and you'll be, of course, joined by Stealthy Boy. How are you doing, Dennis?
Yeah, I'm doing very great. Thank you very much. Of course, we see a Dutch side here, Twente. I'm from the Netherlands, so it's really, really good to see a Dutch side here, yeah, you know, playing. We see them playing against Birmingham, and yeah, it can be a very close series, of course. We have seen two predictions of you guys for Twente, and of course, one prediction of Selector going to Birmingham. So it's going to be a really interesting one. So yeah, well, Southie Wolf, of course, you've predicted for Twente as well. So how do you think they're going to do here in the series?
I think it's going to be a rough start and then into probably something that's going to even the score. So I think game one is most likely going to be a scoreline of 3-1. Then after that, it's going to be, I think, 1-goal games. Unless, of course, Twente somehow pulls through, realizes what the weaknesses are of Birmingham. Because, of course, they still have Kuxian as well, giving them some support in the background. And I think that's really going to come in handy here.
Here we see already here the 20 side straight from the kickoff in the offense. As you see, Four is getting into the corner. 30 was to work. It tries to get it into the middle. Quiver with the first shot of the game, of the series as well. But Dutchmedi there, or Chalco there to get the save. Dutchmedi takes it away, but already early offense there from the 20 side.
Well, that early offense, of course, is for them to apply pressure. It makes them feel more comfortable. And right here, it's very awkward for the Badgers. Force is still there. Gets that ball into the center. And it just shows how comfortable they are to go very offensive and not make it feel like it's a mistake. Because, of course, when you're going offensive, when you're committing that third man in front of the middle line, you have to be certain that you have an opportunity to score.
And of course, this is the very first series both teams are playing. Of course, the very first series we see on stream for the EURC 2021. Now we see Birmingham in the offense getting the first goal on their end as well. It would maybe a little bit against the run of play. We see 3 shots from 20, but the first shot of Birmingham will be very clinical.
Yeah, right there. T1 shot just a tiny second too late in order to reach that ball, but at the same time, we have to look at this factor as well, Dennis. Twente, as we said earlier, they need to warm up their synergy a little bit more, and I think that is what they probably will have to do in this game. Quiver, of course, again, is the lowest one on their team, has, of course, the RNG Genius title. Does mean that he did get to SSL in Rumble, but we all know that Rumble does not translate into the main game.
But yeah, of course, you might be able to just get boosted by some teammates of you, getting the Rumble title for you. But in the end, all what matters is getting SSL in ranked. All what matters is really, how you perform on the pitch. And right now it is 20, looking at a 1-goal deficit. It is Birmingham in the lead with 1 goal. But now it is still Birmingham in the offense, trying to get a second one, but Twente can finally get it out of the hole.
Well, Dennis, it is going to be how it's going to be, and I feel like Twente definitely has a mountain to scale at this point. The Badgers, of course, have a very comfortable lead, but right here, that demo from T1 shot does open up a lot of opportunities. Gets another one, Force it. Now going into the midfield, can't reach that ball, sadly enough, and here is an opportunity for the Badgers once more, but Quiver able to send it to the side, now able to follow that up over Choco Muffin, and now it is Force that's taking his time, but as we can see, Twente is not really creating too much pressure. They're just hitting the ball to hit the ball, not really constructive, concise placements.
Yeah, so much space here as well for Crown in the middle. No one challenging from Twente, but was Falls trying to get a block in against Choco's backboard. But, in the end, it was just a good pass from Choco. Crown could just easily get a shot, and that was just way too fast for Kivert to save it. He was just standing in goal, waiting for the shot, but it was so powerful. Nothing he could do against it. And now this Birmingham with a 2-goal lead, just like you've said, Twente with a rough start, like you've predicted. And, yeah, it doesn't look very bright for them. They are very much under the pressure of Birmingham. Birmingham, 3 shots, 2 goals as well. So, so far, better accuracy from them. And, Twente, they finally can get some offense in, but it's just not enough to beat the Birmingham defense.
Yeah, right here, Forster going for a touch that was actually unnecessary. He would have been way better off taking that ball into the corner. And as a result, Groninho just read that play. He realized Forster is too eager. He wants to hit that ball. And I just have to wait until he messes up. And that's exactly what happened. Right now we're at 3-0 scoreline. It's looking rough for Twente, and I feel like right now the main thing they need is outside support. Somebody to tell Forster to just calm down, don't hit the ball all the time, don't just hit it without a plan. Because right now I really feel like the only person that's trying to do something is Quiver and T1 shot. And as we know, Quiver does not have the same mechanical abilities, the same experience as Forza and T1 shot do.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really important for the coach of Twente. I think it's Coxian, who's probably watching this stream as well. It's going to be really important what he's going to say to this Twente side at the end of this game. Of course, it's not over yet because we're still 1 minute and 40 seconds in this game still. But, Twente, they're losing by 3 goals. It's definitely not the start they would have hoped for. They had, in the first few seconds of the game, they had good offense. But in the end, after that, it just did not happen for them anymore. It was Birmingham getting 3 goals in a row and getting so much pressure on the Twente side as well. The last goal was out of a counter-attack, actually. I expected Twente to make a goal, but they just got conceded after that offense. But now they finally are in the offense again, trying to get their first goal of this series. It's still not happening, and I can say probably this game will be going to Birmingham.
Well, it most likely will be that case, but right now it is still 1 minute on the clock, and again, like I predicted, I said that Twente was probably going to lose the first game. After that, they would bounce back, but right now what they need to do is build momentum. Realize what those habits are from the Birmingham Badgers. And right here, T1 shot with a flip reset. He does misses it though, but Choco Muffin just in time, able to save that one as the reset, however it was incomplete, still was on target.
Yeah, we saw a bump as well coming into the goal during the flip reset, but in the end couldn't get any single touch after the flick on the ball. So, it's a good opportunity. We see Twente a little bit more going into the offense, but, it's just not enough to reward them into a goal. Well, maybe just one little goal, one small goal would help them to get some momentum going into the second game. But now I say a 1 goal for Twente would help, but at the other side, it will be Birmingham getting the 4th goal and completing done and dusted this game.
Well, that's of course a very clean way to cement yourself into a position where you could comfortably say, going into game 2, we don't really have too much to be afraid of, right? Right now, what the Birmingham Badgers need to do is just make sure that they realize those awkward moments that they were able to capitalize on so far, that Twente just makes mistake. And right now, Forza able to get that ball to T1 shot, but the connection is a little bit too rough. It's like watching diamonds that only have one face of the diamond that is clear and the other one is still faced by the rock. So you can't really do much with them. You have to refine them. And that's basically the position that Twente is in right now.
Yeah, they need to do something else. So like I've already said, probably Coxian is watching the stream, so it's going to be really important for him to, maybe give a pep talk to Twente. They haven't scored any single goal. They have had 6 shots, just the same like Birmingham had. 6 shots against 6 shots. Well, when you don't score the shots, then of course the other team is going, to get you there. It's 6 shots and 4 goals for Birmingham and 0 goals for Twente. So definitely accuracy needs to be a little bit better for that side. And Twente, also the defense, it just needs some work. Of course, 6 shots and 4 goals from Birmingham. The accuracy is right there for them, but only 1 save coming out of the Twente side. So statistically, not the best performance of Twente.
Yeah, one thing you do have to know with Twente, of course, Dennis, is that they live under the motto, offense is the best defense. But then at the same time, if you want to live under that motto and say, yes, offense is the best defense, then I feel like their offense has to be a tiny bit better. And with being better, I just mean the precision that you also mentioned. That precision is mandatory if you want to be able to just play as aggressive as possible, because if you go too aggressive, you're not able to score. It's going to be pretty easy for them also to counter. Just one very long clear ball into a backboard read can mean a goal for the opposing side.
We're going to see how this game 2 will go. Of course, a best of 5 series. So if Birmingham wins this game number 2, they will go into match point, going into game 3, and then it's going to be a really hard journey for Twente. Then they will need a reverse sweep. But game 2 just kicked off, and they will definitely try to go for the game number 2 win.
So far, there's a lot of time taken from the side from Quiver, and that's what we want to see. Quiver, of course, the lowest player on the side from Twente, but what a shot! Oh, Forza, come on. I mean, I can't appreciate this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry, Dennis, but I can't appreciate this deal.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of a Dutch mentality, if you're just a little bit shitting around with your teammate, and well, it will be Force's goal, but it was a great shot from T1 shot nonetheless in the first place. Yeah, you've already mentioned, Quiver being the lowest player of the Twente side, not involved in this goal either. But we just have to see, maybe Quiver is gonna pop off in this game number 2, maybe in game number 3 as well. We just have to see. I've seen a lot of underdog stories coming out of an individual player being the lower MMR player, but sometimes MMR doesn't say anything. And there's just this one player that can just stand out, just out of nowhere.
I mean, a great example for that is Frosty Fried from Durance Nijmegen from last year. That guy was just, I think, C1 when he started playing EURC, ended up being GC in the end, but that guy, he went from being carry to being the carry. So there's still a lot of growing potential for Quiver, but again, same thing that I said last game, Forza just hitting the ball and then now leaving the ball. This is like mentality. Even though you're SSL, I don't really understand how you get to that rank and are allowed to do those kind of touches. Because the Birmingham Badgers are literally taking control of those moments right now. And the one-shot, beautiful follow-up, can't get to double now. Forza here in an awkward position once more. Does get a touch past Groninho. And that's what we need to see. He needs to follow up on his own touches, even if he has no boost. Because else is just a given opportunity to the opposite side.
Yeah, so far it's definitely been a better Twente game. Picked up the accuracy, actually rewarded that into a goal early on in this game number 2, of course. But so far no shot from the Birmingham side created. Now another shot coming in, a demo as well, but it can't be rewarded into a goal for us putting the ball over the ball. Now T1 with a great shot though, great follow-up from him. And we see Twente now with a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, right there, Quiver making himself as useless as possible. The demo really opened up a lot of space, then another bump on his way out. So good team play overall from the side from Twente, and this is also why I said, Dennis, they need to warm up. That first game is not going to go all too well, and from that second game on, it might be a completely different story, and I'm happy I was right. It is a completely different story right now, but they have to hold on. And, I mean, I don't want to say that Force is like playing like a monkey or anything remotely like that, but he really has to keep himself under control, realize that he has to push out his ball, and right here it wasn't too ready for that, but that was a beautiful pass from the side from Birmingham Badgers.
Yeah, great play from the Birmingham side. Great shot as well from Choco, just coming out of nowhere, but he's getting a really good shot. 127 kph. Well, the overlay says 126, but it's been 127 in game. But Birmingham, they're kind of coming back now. They only one goal deficit between both sides. Still halftime to be played. Now we see Choco again in the offense trying to get his second in only 5 seconds time, but he can't get it this time, as now will be a double commit, but falls when the end cleared out.
Right now, there's a lot of pressure coming out though. Falls trying to get that ball into the center. Now Chocomuffin, far lunge. T1shot is there now trying to take control. Has to get this ball past Matty, but that's not an ability. But right now, there's Falsey. Good pass down to T1shot. T1shot putting it on the target. Croninho has to play this one to the side. Now Matty taking a little bit more time. Quiver is right there, trying to take his time and force the own goals. Nice.
I mean, I think we can just call this karma, right? He stole the goal from T1shot, the very first goal. And now this happens. He's getting the ball, not in the right goal, but this time in his own goal. 2-0.
I mean, and again, at this point, I don't want to say it, but I mean, it is just reality, Dennis. This is just being too eager to hit the ball all the time, to why that own goal came through. The ball was past him. He should have just accepted it. The ball is gone. I can't do anything. But here is Quiver with a nice action. Almost gets the redirect, but the crossbar is there. That would have been beautiful for Twente to get back into the lead. Now Forza trying to turn in. Does not get a touch that he needs though, but he's able to send it back to T1shot. So in the end, it works out. But I really feel like this is because of the awareness of his teammates more than due to him calling it out.
Yeah, we see, one player from Twente just going into the offense every time. Two players really staying as third man, not really to support, but every time they're just, an individual player going for his shot, but so far not really any passing plays created. And of course, we have seen Birmingham with their great play scoring their very first goal of this game number 2. But, from the Twente side, we don't really see that creativity, and I hope we can see that. Now we see a great passing play. Just as I was saying, they don't do any passing plays. Now the first one of the whole game, I think, comes out, but it doesn't reward them into a goal. It bounces off the crossbar. Now this Birmingham with possession.
Well, only 58 seconds remaining, Dennis, and right here, it is where the pressure will come in. Twente, of course, have to prove themselves. Like you said, one more win for the Badgers. They are already on match points, so Twente definitely doesn't want this, but he wants to try to look for a little bit of a once kind of play. But right now, this clear makes it very awkward. Matty is right there. Forza able to get that one into the corner, but Chocomuffin, Salionov got bumped mid-air, and here is where Twente really had to take control, but Forza and T1shot climbing on top of each other, it really not made it possible to get a quick counterplay going.
Yeah, we see Choco, he was really struggling with boost after the offense he made. Got bumped mid-air, had no boost. No one from Birmingham following that, and then Twente, no one from them following either, which was really questionable. But now we see Twente with a little bit of offense, but straight away Choco takes it over. As we see 10 seconds in this game number 2, approaches OT, which will of course be the very first OT of this series. Now we see the ball going to the right side. Choco, what is going to do with it? Takes up the 100 boost, puts it up the ceiling. I think he just wants to get it into OT. He does indeed, and we have a game number 2 OT.
Well, overtime for the first time this series, and it's, going even so far. And near the end of the game, I wouldn't say that one of the two teams had the advantage right here, but Quiver had a great first opportunity. Sadly enough, there was still somebody in front of him, but now Croninho taking a little bit more time, does go in the knee there, but Quiver is there, gets another block. Forza also outplayed by Matty, but T1shot goes to the backboard. Croninho is there. Forza also came from an angle that I didn't expect him to come from, but I feel like he made it a little bit more awkward because Twente really needed somebody on defense right now.
Well, yeah, of course, they're already one game down. This overtime is vital for them. They need to win, or otherwise it, of course, will be Birmingham in match point going into game 3. We see Twente on the offense, though, trying to make something out of this, but they can't get any offense. Now, it is another good touch by Birmingham, but in the end, a great save by Crown. Still the offense going on for Twente. Forrest can't get another touch, and now finally Birmingham are out of defense.
All right, here's a good opportunity. Nice clear to the center from Matty, and T1shot is struggling a little bit to get that ball under control, but Force is now able to put on the speed. Quiver right there with the save. What can he do? He doesn't get it past Matty though. So it is really the Badgers being able to apply that pressure. It is also continuous pressure, which is definitely what they need. But the one shot right here, using some of his mechanics, trying to use that flip reset in order to get that ball past the Badgers. But they are aware. They know it's coming. And Forza gets a very good block right here. Just a little bit unexpected, if you ask me.
Yeah, now so far, of course, we see Birmingham with a lot of offense. Since those 2 goals from Twente, of course, Birmingham were 2 goals down. They picked this up together, and we see a lot of offense coming from them. Also in this overtime, so Twente really need to watch out for this Birmingham side because they need to win this overtime. Of course, otherwise it's going to be a really hard journey for them. They need to win 3 times in a row if they still want to take the series in. But of course, if they win this OT, the whole series can turn out otherwise. We see Chaka now trying to make something out of this, gets the ball into the middle, gets another touch on it, but Foyce will be able to control the ball, gets it not on the wall, just gets a flick, but Crown can easily block that one as the ball will just get cleared out by 20. Foyce with the ball into the middle, passing plays coming out now, but Quiver will take control over that, tries to get a 50 against Dutch Matty. Dutch Matty wins that one. Now a bump on T1 shot, really awkward now. Dutch Matty with another 50, but can't get the ball into goal, and T1 shot will clear the ball out.
Well, right now, already 2 minutes and 30 seconds in, Dennis. This is half a game. I mean, of course, everybody can do maths. I know that. We're, of course, watching University League. It would be a little bit of a disgrace if we were not able to do half of 5 minutes. But still, at the same time, this half of 5 minutes is creating a lot of pressure right now on both teams. And, of course, the Birmingham Badgers, they are in a good position. They know that they can take this. But Twente, like you said multiple times already, they have to prove themselves. They don't want to play 3 games back in a row, but Quiver, lowest man in the lobby to get that last goal. Quiver is the legend for Twente so far.
Yeah, puts it up by himself, assist and the goal on his name, and Quiver will definitely take that 3rd goal for Twente, will get the decider of this game number 2, and this series is equalized 1-1, and we are going to see a best of 3 series. The first team that can win 2 games will, of course, win this series. A huge win, I can say, for Twente. This is really what they needed. They could not lose this one because otherwise I could see them, slowing down. Like, yeah, I mean, if you're 2 games down, you're under such amount of pressure. But now this game was vital for them. They won it in OT after, like you've said, nearly 3 minutes OT. But they did it. It is Twente taking this game number 2. And in game number 3, well, we might see, Twente taking up the momentum, trying to get this 3rd game on their end as well. But Birmingham, it was a good comeback from them, but in the end, it just wasn't enough to win against Twente in overtime.
Yeah, and at the same time, this is something that we also have to take into account, Dennis. If Twente played a little bit differently, Forza just didn't get unlucky touches, it could have been without overtime. So they definitely have the momentum. They know how to play against Birmingham right now. The main thing they have to do, though, is to keep up that momentum and force it to just know when he has lost his fight. Like, sometimes the ball is passed. You don't try hitting a ball that is going towards your own goal because you might as well own goal it. And we saw it twice, I think, almost.
Yeah, of course, it's always good to have like one aggressive player, but when that player becomes too aggressive, well, we might see things like own goals, like last game, or just, a completely cut in rotation. So, that are things to consider for Force. Of course, it's good for Twente to have that one aggressive player, but Force sometimes maybe needs to chill out, calm down, and then maybe we see, those own goals do not happen. But this time, it is not an own goal. Choco will try to get a shot in, but yeah, can't get it past the defender. Early offense from the Birmingham side, as we see T1 shot going for an edge, but Dutch Matty will clear it out. Quiver instantly takes it over, gets a 50 on Choco, but Quiver still keeps on going, has no boost, gets it over 1. Quiver, the lowest man on the field, will get an assist. No, it will not. Falls will try to get a shot in, but Choco is there to save it.
Yeah, right now, Quiver again. I don't know where he came from, but he got a great touch right here, centering that ball. 3T1 shot, Quiver with the follow-up. There's nobody there from Twente. That was a grand opportunity in order to get the lead early on, but now Forza trying to use his mechanic. Does get a flick over 1. It's not in, but T1 shot is there. He has a lot of time, he has the placement, and the 1-0 is established.
Yeah, Forrest there with the flick, but I think someone should have been there. 2 players of Birmingham going for that save, going for the clear. Crown and Dutch Matty both not be able to get any single hit on the ball, and then it is an open now for Twente. And T1 shot will definitely not miss those. And Twente, yeah, yet again, just like in game number 2, will get a first goal of the game.
Well, 1 minute only done, and I feel like right now Birmingham just has to get back into their groove. They had a lot of pressure in that first game, and I feel like right now they are crumbling a little bit under that over-aggressive pressure that we get from, of course, Forza, just trying to hit the ball all the time. And right now what they need to do is do the polar opposite, actually. Yes, you could say they could counter with a very quick playstyle where they just throw themselves at the ball as well, but if it is not how they're comfortable to playing, it's going to be hard to win this way. But ooh, there they had a great opportunity. So what I want to see from them a little bit more is just a little bit more control plays. Try and go on that dribble. Big those 50s and try and steer them into one of your teammates that might be able to create a good opportunity from it.
Yeah, we see a lot of, ping pong plays out of the Birmingham side, just like you've mentioned, but, nothing is really rewarding them into a goal. So we see Chaka now trying to make something out of this, trying to control it. Great 50 from him, goes on the backboard. Dutch Matty tries to control it, but it just gets cleared out before he could get any hit on the ball. As we see now, T1 shot getting into the middle, gets it all the way over Quiver at the left side of the field. Choco into the middle, no one there to follow it up as Falls will get an easy clear out to the right side. Tries to follow it up himself as well, as T1 shot is here to just clear the ball to his own corner. We're approaching half time. We still see Twente with a 1-goal lead, but now we see the ball, for the majority of the time on the half of Twente as well.
Ooh, but this was a great opportunity though from the side from Choco Muffin. He had great placement, only Team One Shot was a little bit too quick, and right now that ball in the center is quite some danger. Choco Muffin, good dribble, gets that flick past one. Quiver's still there with the interception, now hits that ball away. And this is really a moment that Birmingham should try and take control. They try to do that, but Matty is a little bit too late. Gets outpaced by Forza. Once again, ball going to the sidelines. And with only 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining, sure, Birmingham have a lot of opportunities. We already saw them have a great pressure, but this shot, but Quiver with the save.
Yeah, Quiver so far, phenomenal game from him. Of course, getting 3 saves on his name as well. The underdog player in this series has done an incredible job controlling the ball here, getting it past one. Great flip, and there's a follow-up from T1 shot as well. The ball falling into the middle. Choco needs to get it. Tries to get another hit on it. Tries to go for a free preset. Can't get any contact with the ball after that flick. Quiver now tries to follow it up. Can he get a goal? He deserves it. He deserves it, but it falls off the post. Really unfortunate for him. And still Twente with only a 1-goal lead.
Well, only 1-goal lead so far, like you mentioned it yourself, Dennis. And with 1 minute and 30 seconds to go, and Twente left literally being locked into that rhythm, knowing how to attack, trying to outpace the Birmingham Badgers all the time. It's gonna look pretty grim for the Badgers, I'm not gonna lie. And Quiver right there did miss. And this is an opportunity for the Badgers. They have to go quickly, but T1 shot is up already. Choco Muffin now has to play to the side, but Twente is already lurking right there. Great flick from Quiver, but he can't finish it off.
Hey, some people, they say an octane, you can't flick with a car, you can't get those high flicks. Well, Quiver, he just, proves you wrong. We have seen 2 great flicks from him already. One time in defense, but this time in offense, nearly rewarding them into a goal. But he's just so good with those flicks, controlling the ball, getting the ball really slow on his car, and then, getting a massive flick out of the octane from him. But, so far, no goals created from it, of course. But we still see Twente with a 1-goal lead, of course. The winner of this game will get themselves into match points, so a vital game for both teams, of course. Crown trying to get an equalizer, but it's just not enough. T1 shot will just take it over. We'll get another hit, maybe another one. No, he can't. Now it will be a shot, but it will be Quiver not scoring yet again. I think, we have seen so many shots from Quiver already. 4 shots, 3 saves as well. He's been quite unlucky with his shots, but, if Quiver, is here with all those saves, it will help Twente getting the lead. But, 1-0, it is 8 seconds left, and I think this game will go to Twente.
It's not over till it's over, Dennis. And here's another opportunity. Matty with a shot on target. It goes in. This is why you never say it is over until the ball hits the floor.
I have no idea. It was, I think it was the one shot, back post. I think it was a ghost hit as well, it looked like a little bit. And it is overtime. And yeah, it looked like an easy save for T1 shot. But it still gets in, and we are going into yet another overtime. Last time, of course, we have seen a 3-minute overtime won by Twente. But this time, it will be Twente being really sad, not getting the win. And it is a 0-second equalizer by Birmingham.
Well, here it is, Forza though, getting an opportunity, launching the ball to the ceiling. Quiver is there! Redirect from Quiver! This guy is just having the day of his life. I don't know what it is, but I really feel like everybody is feeling second to Quiver right now on the side from Twente.
Yeah, you've just talked about, that underdog story of this one player. Well, Quiver could follow him up here because he has been phenomenal in this game number 2, or game number 3, I have to say. He has been very, very good. And yeah, 1 goal, 4 saves as well. And yet getting the decider in OT. Quite unfortunate how they got it in OT after the 0-second equalizer, but they will definitely be really, really happy to get this victory on their end, and will be Quiver being the man of the match.
I mean, this guy had some incredible saves. And then not to mention that last goal, that redirect. I mean, he deserves that MVP right now. If Twente win, he's my MVP all out. Like, there's no way to go around it. He deserves it more than anyone on the team right now.
Yeah, I could completely agree with that. Of course, maybe there's just one player which is not Quiver that scored like 7 goals in the next game. Well, then I have to give the MVP to that player. But this game, it has been Quiver. I mean, he has been phenomenal.
7 goals without saves doesn't make him MVP for me, because then you just really disregard the defense and then it doesn't work that way. If there is somebody, however, with 7 assists and 4 saves, that guy gets the MVP for me. But of course, that's probably a conflict of interest. I'm more of a team play oriented kind of person. I really like seeing those team plays and more than just seeing goals getting scored.
Well, we're going to see that in game number 4. We always see those team plays happening between any of these sides. Of course, Birmingham need them. They need to win this game. They won game number 1, but then Twente came back, won 2 games in a row, and now they are here in match points. Game number 4, and Birmingham need to win. And what a start that is. Choco will just get it in 5 seconds in. Great air drag from him. And Birmingham already early on in this game number 4 in the lead.
Locked and loaded. He immediately realized what he wanted to do, and I mean, there was nothing else to say that he was locked in from the start. The moment you saw him lifting that ball and he only had to carry it forwards, it was just in a perfect position. But this is now an opportunity for Twente. Force a backflipping, though, makes it a little bit more awkward. So Twente right now in the same predicament as Badgers has been in last game. But Chocomuffin right here, beautiful save. Forza trying to take that ball to the side, trying to create time, gets that ball into the center. But again, he just leaves it. So one thing that Twente really has to do is for Forster to just follow up his balls. It's not over until you have 0 boost, taking that last 50, and someone from your team can take over.
Yeah, now we see Twente in the offense trying to get the equalizer. Oh, that's a pinch. It's not going into the goal, but it looks very, very dangerous there for the Twente side. Now we see Crown going up. It is a clean hit. It's an open net as well. He needed some help from the crossbar, but it will be Birmingham with a flying start.
And this is, of course, absolutely beautiful. Beautiful performance so far from the side from Birmingham. And as we said, Dennis, they need to bounce back. Last game, it was really looking like Twente was in control most of the time. But so far, in only 47 seconds, actually, they were able to score 2 goals already. So right now, Twente really has to try and do something of a similar feat. Doesn't have to be over 46 seconds, but it has to be over the remaining 4 minutes, though.
Yeah, they still have a lot of time to get those 2 goals. And of course, they have a game in hand. So not any, maybe a little bit of pressure, but not as much pressure if Twente would be 2 up, of course. And then Birmingham would be under the pressure. Now we see Falls needing to defend that pinch off the backboard. But, so far it has really been Birmingham in the offense pretty much all the time. Now finally we can see Twente getting a little bit in the offense, maybe controlling the play a little bit. But I think Birmingham, they are doing a really good job controlling the ball much more than the last 2 games. You see them, making more offenses because of that. And that's really good to see. Those team plays coming out of that side as well. And they are really keen to win this game number 4.
Ooh, Quiver here with a good opportunity though, but now it is the Badgers that are looking for their 3rd goal, trying to get the ball center. Croninho is able to play to the side, but now the 1 shot down to Quiver. Quiver sending that one into the midfield. Chocomuffin can't get it, and Quiver is there to follow it up. Twente is back in it. They need 1 more goal to equalize it, but this first move here from Quiver created a lot of openings for them, and 3 minutes for 1 goal is definitely possible, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, ready and refreshed here, going for the comeback. Of course, last game we have seen Birmingham coming back from its 2-goal deficit. And here Twente is, 3 minutes to go. A lot of time, like I've already mentioned, they had 4 minutes, needed to score 2 goals. Now they have 3 minutes, needing to score at least 1 goal to send this game to overtime. If, of course, Birmingham can't score. Demo coming out of the 20's offender, but can't be wadded into a goal. As we now see the ball going to the side, Birmingham trying to clear the ball, and now they finally can, but see 1 shot back rotated very well, as he now can maybe get a follow-up as well. Choco tries to get a 50. It falls in the middle in front of Birmingham's goal, but no one there to follow it up. A good block as well from the defender of Birmingham. Now we see Force without any boost still manages to get the ball in the air. Crown in the corner, tries to control the ball a little bit, but T1 shot will take it over from him. Another demo coming out of Choco. So now see the ball at the side. A little bit lucky to get the ball there to the corner. Dutch Metzi definitely did not predict that one, but T1 shot is able to recover, is able to take it over, tries to go for an air dribble, but it will be cleared out by Choco. And now we see a little bit of, rest, a little bit of silence. No goals scored in the last minute, and Twente is still losing by 1 goal.
Well, it's just that little bit of a rough silence, like that moment before the storm kind of action. Is it going to be a storm with Twente scoring some goals, or is it actually going to be calm all the time? And right here, Falls in an awkward position. T1 shot able to bail him out, but Badgers are still looking, trying to get another goal. Quiver able to get that ball to the left-hand side. Matty is there, able to send it back into the corner now. Is Forcer just going to control it? He sends it to the side, has the opportunity to follow up on this one, but Muffin gets that one centered. Groninho not really able to get a proper touch, so back and forth play between both teams going smooth so far. Nobody really taking too much of a risk, but Twente is running up against the clock. They need to be pretty aggressive, I would say. And Quiver right here going underneath that one player already makes a world of difference, but nobody is there for Twente to follow up.
Yeah, like you mentioned, we need to see some aggression from the Twente players. We know Falls is quite an aggressive player, but now we need to see it from Quiver and from T1 shot as well. They need to show off right now, otherwise the series will go to game number 5, of course. Very interesting, but Twente want to close it out right now, of course. They've won OT last game, and here they are. They want to win it again. They want to close out this series after this game, because if it goes to game number 5, it will be Birmingham having some momentum going into it. Of course, winning this game number 4. A double commit coming out of the Twente side, now a little awkward. Ooh. Can clear it out, and now it is a 2v1 situation. T1 just takes it over. It wastes a lot of time, not the best action from T1 shot. Dutch Medi can get it clear out. It's still in the half for Birmingham though. Twente really looking for that equalizer in this game number 4, but so far it's not happening yet.
I mean, honestly, at this point, we can write it off. Quiver is the best player on Twente by far. T1 shot forced so many opportunities into the bin, really. And right now, T1 shot still trying to clear this one out. Now trying to go for control. He can't follow this up anymore. Quiver has to do it. Gets that ball to the sideline, but Forcer isn't there. He isn't ready. He's just retreating at this point. But he still gets that ball into the air. That's another opportunity for Twente. Mary gets that ball high, gets another touch. Quiver now has to race against Chocomuffin in order to keep this one up. Backflip from T1 shot. And with 0 seconds on the clock, the ball can't drop. And Forcer, what do you do?
Well, he just drops the ball down. Game number 4 will be done, and thus Birmingham will take this game and will bring this series to a game 5. What a way to start off this season of EURC. The very first game, the very first series will go to a game number 5, deciding game number 5. So it's going to be really interesting to see how both teams, of course, are going to play in this game number 5, bringing a little bit of momentum. And well, it's going to be really interesting to see how Birmingham, of course, is going to play, is going to continue this momentum, or will it be Twente, coming back in game number 5, just like they've done in game number 2 and game number 3. Birmingham, they fought back really well, of course, losing game number 2 and game number 3. Game number 4 was theirs, and well, we saw some mistakes from the Twente side as well. 2 early goals from Birmingham, and in the end, Twente, with a goal not very long after, but after that, they couldn't score any single goal anymore. So, maybe a little bit much time needed for that last goal, for, of course, well, the goal that didn't happen, the equalizer. It has been Twente, looking for so long for that second goal from the side, but it just didn't happen. Now we are here in Champions Field, and Twente, they'll definitely hope to take the series, and Birmingham are also really, really close to take the series to their end.
Yeah, they definitely need to step it up right now, because otherwise it's going to end with a Badgers win. They have that momentum. They were clinical in that last game, and we couldn't really say the same. Wow, this is just silence from WoW. I'm disappointed beyond belief, but this pinch is quite something great. If that went in, I wouldn't be silent. I would have probably been screaming and didn't know what to say. That would have probably been my response. That I know by now I could give that to you on a paper.
Yeah, it would have been a one way to start off this game number 5, but we still see, or we are seeing a goalless game here with 30 seconds in this game number 5, as we see T1 shot in the corner, tries to control the ball, 80 boost to work with, just takes it over. We have seen him doing it so much, just going for the edge dribble, controlling the ball really, really well. Now we see a follow-up from Quiver, has the boost to work with, can't get any single touch after it anymore. As we see Force in the corner, tries to get his 100 boost. A shot coming in from Birmingham, but not enough to beat the Twente's defense. We see Crown up for that really, really slow, so gets beat very easily by his opponent. This Chuck gets ball to the side. Force a little bit double commit there by the Twente side, and we have seen that in game number 4, and they can't let that happen too much in this game number 5, because of course in game 4 they've lost that game as well, just because of some individual mistakes. And this time they really want to take this game number 5, but we have seen some mistakes. But so far now, Twente is in the offense, but they can't be rewarded with a goal.
I mean, so far it's just very hard to predict how Twente is going to play, because it's weird to me, that Quiver is the only person that nobody double commits with. It's always between T1shot and Forza. Are they not on the same wavelength? Are they not talking to each other? Have they been fighting before the game? Those are all questions I start asking myself when I see that many double commits in succession. And of course, I know it's some sort of a mental process. Like the moment you make your first, oh, but this is an opportunity. The moment you make your first double commit, you're in that zone of making double commits. And they are good enough players to break out of it, but right now it's definitely quite a struggle.
Yeah, Twente, luckily for them, haven't got conceded yet in this game number 5. It is a goalless game, 2 minutes in here, and we see, really back and forth play, to be honest. We see Twente with 4 shots and only 1 shot from Birmingham, but I have to say, nonetheless, I can't really see Twente being that dominant team, and Birmingham not either. It's quite back and forth, but now we see Twente in the offense yet again. They now have some good pressure. So you now see Chaco trying to get it clear, tries to get a second one, does not have much boost anymore. T1shot will get a ball to the backboard, but it's very slow, as Dutch Metzi will get a really, really easy clear.
Well, half the game still to go, and Force is already trying to pinch it back to his own half once more, and T1shot is there ready, trying to get that touch. Quiver now able to take it to the corner, but now he has to try and take control. Doesn't get that ball past Groninho, but Forza opts for that very long cross-court play, and Quiver doesn't get the block, but that was a double commit from the side from the Badgers, and this is where Twente really needs to take control. T1shot into that midfield, not able to follow up on his own touch as Chocomuffin now plays it to the corner, tries to go down, does get that boost, so he has a lot to work with right now, and that's something that we do have to give the Badgers a lot of credit for. They are very aware how to preserve their boost if they're going for a play, how to stay as efficient as possible. But Quiver had a brilliant opportunity there, sadly enough, it didn't go in for Twente.
Yeah, that was very, very close. Nearly the first goal of this game 5, and any single goal that's going to be scored from now on will be huge, maybe decisive for both teams. Of course, in game number 5, 1.5 minutes to go, still a goalless game. And now we see Force getting a really good pass. Quiver backwards, though, can't really get a good shot. T1shot going up for that. It's going to be goal. No, it's going to be saved by Crown, and Birmingham under a lot of pressure from the Twente side.
All right, here another opportunity. Quiver shot the target, saved by Groninho. And the performance from both teams is just on point. Okay, Twente still has some ugly mistakes. Let's not be lying about that, but at the same time, they do have that potential. They do have those kind of clean passing plays as we're seeing right now, as T1shot is lurking on that sidewall. Tries to get that ball into the center, just completely whiffs it now though. But Forza is there, gets a good first touch, doesn't have the boost to follow up, and yet he still leaves that ball for Quiver, who now has to rush into a hit from the sidewall, or the back wall, sorry. And that is basically, again, giving the ball to Badgers, so I don't know really what's the game plan on the side from Twente.
Well, right now, everything they have in mind is we just want to score. We have so much pressure. We have 13 shots against 2 of Birmingham, but we just can't score. We just can't beat the defense of Birmingham. 10 saves from the Birmingham side against 2 saves of the Twente side. That just shows, really, this second half of game number 5, how this went. Of course, first it was, quite back and forth, but Birmingham still able to, not concede any single. The pressure is still here, but Twente can't fight any single goal still in this game number 5.
Oh, this was a little bit of an awkward moment. Miscommunication almost between Quiver and T1shot. But in the end, it's good communication that made it so possible to not get scored on here. Forza trying to push that ball out solo. T1shot up into the air. Sends that ball to the backboard. It's going to drop down. Is he able to follow? No, Chocomuffin is there, not able to clear it. Now, Chocomuffin launching the ball forward with Forza with the interception. Not able to get a second touch, but Maddie plays it into the blue hand corner again. Crossing that ball across the court, and T1shot able to launch that one forward, create some time for himself to pick up some pads, pick up some boost, because he just spawned again.
Yeah, we see now Birmingham trying to, go against the run of play and getting a goal, but Twente now trying to get some offenses going as well. It's not really in the OT of many shots, many offenses, but it has definitely been very, very nerve-wracking for both teams. Getting into game 5 is one, but getting into OT is something, something really, really nervous here. In the very first series, both teams are playing in the EURC group stage. Now we see for the shot off the post. Once again, Dutch Medi with the save. And oh my, Birmingham, they are yet again crumbling, not crumbling, well, they just getting themselves out of the pressure from Twente. And I'm not sure how they managed to do it still.
This has to be destiny. This has to be the prophecy that Badgers is not allowed to win. They are able to make 2 saves literally at that goal line, making it so they don't go down in that 0-1 scoreline in the groups like you mentioned yourself, Dennis. But right now, it is Croninho sending that ball to the back ball. Double commit between Quiver and T1 shot makes it a little bit more awkward. Shot goes high. Oh, Dutch Matty was there, and that would have been an opportunity. Now Croninho keeping the pressure alive, and Twente really have to defend in these last moments, and this is nerve-wracking. Oh my god, Force, where did you come from?
Wolf, I have to say, I don't know what's happening. Birmingham now finally with some pressure, finally fired some shots here in his OT. And we have seen 2 great attempts, first from Twente and now from the Birmingham side. But we are still battling on 2 minutes in this overtime. And Birmingham finally found some offense, but Twente now straight after in the offense, trying to get the first goal of this game, which will be the very last goal of this series, of course. Quiver now going for the double. Quiver, oh! If that happened, I would have screamed. I would have lost my mind, but it is still OT. But Quiver, he has been phenomenal so far. Can't reward this into a goal, but maybe we still see him scoring the very last goal of the series.
Well, T1 shot is still there, going into the air, now trying to get underneath Croninho, but Croninho was able to get that save, so that's a stellar performance from him right now. But now, Quiver to the back ball, can't really reach Falls, is still there to get another touch. That's T1 shot, our ball goes down. And this is awkward. Dutch Matty able to get the save, but it doesn't really have a lot of boost as Force is now able to get that ball off him. Tries to take control. Shokamuffin takes this one away once more. And we're already 3 minutes in, but this might be dangerous. Shokamuffin against Force. Force able to get the save. Quiver now getting that ball to the side, but Shokamuffin is there. He gets blocked by Quiver. It is so close between these 2 teams, Dennis. I'm almost shaking in my chair right now.
Well, if you're not shaking, I am. And if I'm not shaking, the players definitely are, because I have no idea how they can calm. And about going to the goal of Birmingham, but Crown will still be able to get the ball 3 minutes in this overtime. And all the players, performing so well, not making any single mistake. No shots can go in, and this is just such an entertaining overtime, such an entertaining series as well. Definitely, this overtime has been phenomenal. We see 16 shots from the Twente side against 7 of Birmingham, but finally in this overtime, Birmingham, they've woken up. They made a bet against the Twente side after a very one-sided game number 5, but this is definitely a big battle between both sides.
All right, now Shokamuffin trying to get that ball down to Dutch Matty. The connection is there. Ball goes a little bit too wide, but Croninho is able to get that one past Quiver. Force the last man standing, gets that ball away, but now Quiver has to reach that ball out, and Forza almost getting the bump on Dutch Matty. That would have been mandatory in order to reach that ball all the way to the other side. But now T1 shot is there. He's lurking. He gets it in. Twente take it after 4 minutes and 9 seconds of overtime.
Yeah, and Crown definitely is slamming his desk right now because he really, really wanted to get that hit. He needed to get that hit. It was his ball, and he missed. And T1 shots will definitely take that one and will win this series for Twente. And oh my, it was a 4-minute OT. 9 minutes it took for game 5 to get the first goal. But finally it happened, and it will be the Dutch side. It will be Twente taking their very first series after a really, really entertaining game number 5.
Well, no, not really the first victory of the Benelux side. I think that Tilburg also really dominated in their first match so far. But I mean, first victory for Twente. First victory we've seen for the Benelux side on this stream. Also, let's clarify that. It's only for this stream, the first victory that we've seen from the side from the Benelux. And sadly enough, the first half from the side from the UK.
Yeah, it's not happening for the UK in this series. They made it very close though, but in the end, it just wasn't enough for Birmingham. But yeah, the good shot from them, of course. They won game 1 and game number 4 to send this series to game number 5. But in the end, it wasn't enough. They had they were just under a lot of pressure from the 20 side. They had some good opportunities in the overtime, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. Very good defense from the Twente side as well. Very good performance, of course, from the 2 players from Twente. Considerations to Birmingham, but they still in the group stage, of course. It's only the very first loss, but they still have a lot of games to be played.
Well, of course, talking about next games, we, of course, have a second match coming up after a small break. It will be Blue Jays versus the EU Apes. Dennis, I think we're going to a small break. This match has been a lot of hype. It's been incredible, and I think we'll hear more about it on the desk after the break.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like like a blazing flare. Just stay, 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. My darling dear, you're never here. When I'm in pain, you hide and disappear. Like shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere. Yeah. I prayed for you and kept you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the EURC broadcast. Of course, day one of week one. And what a series we just saw. Of course, I am joined by Nualaic again, and now Wet Tiger. Wet Tiger, how are you doing? That game 5 overtime, I was worried that we might be here all evening with that series between Badgers and 20. How was that for you to watch?
It was a great series, definitely, and a great ending. I didn't thought 20 would make it, as the Badgers put on a lot of pressure and they seemingly couldn't break through the defense of 20. So it was a great series, and I didn't expect the result, to be honest.
I mean, to be fair, between myself and you, Nualaic, the predictions, I held the flag high for the Badgers. I still believe, and I was very confident at the start of the series, 4-0 they came out and smashed that game 1, and then game 5, I don't know how they held on for as long as they could. It was, like 17 shots from Twente in game 5. I think it was fair to say that they just about deserved it in the end, and so kudos to you. You get to be the one sat here very smug, predicting right.
I mean, I never had any doubt whatsoever in Twente. As you say, it was just a barrage of shots coming through. I think at one point during that game, Badgers had 11 saves, with I think the lion's share of them being on Maddie, and on the other side, Twente had 2 saves. Which I think, tells the story of that game. And Twente, that's a huge result for them as well. I mean, in a 5-minute overtime to just about squeak out the win, at the end of the day, that's a series win. And these are two teams who absolutely could be fighting for that 5th qualifier spot in Group D. So not only was that series super intense, we could be looking back at this in a few weeks' time and saying that's where it all went wrong for Badgers.
True. That's absolutely right. As I was going to say, you stole the words out of my mouth. That is the sort of series that they end up looking back, and it will have a huge impact on the outcome of that group as a whole. But of course, we're no longer on Group D, are we? We are in fact going to be moving away towards Group C, where our next matchup on stream for you guys is the UEA Blue Jays against the TUD Apes. Of course, both of whom we've seen a fair bit. They've never played each other before. We saw them, I think it's fair to say, pre-season in Society Showdown. UEA had the luck of making it all the way to the semi-finals with their new roster. And the TUD Apes, I mean, they had a tough group to get out of, and they actually looked solid, and they had to play that tournament with a sub. I mean, of course, Wet Tiger, you're probably less familiar, I guess, with these two teams in particular, but I think it's fair to say TUD Apes are, the underdog, but do you feel like they get that sort of advantage given that we've not really seen them that much with their actual full roster, right?
Yeah, I think if you can make it with a sub, you definitely can perform with your main roster. As they've played more, they could really surprise us here and probably take a game or even the series.
Exactly. I mean, of course yourself, Nualaic, very familiar with the TUD Apes, and we can talk about how, the UEA Blue Jays are previously mostly known for playing with Queen Scots, but now Zortea, the man on that roster, and we know they're still very capable and will be aiming for that championship bracket in NSC. Probably, in my opinion, sort of the number 5 in the UK right now in terms of how I would have personally exceeded them. It's like they're looking strong, and I think it's the perfect level of team for the TUD Apes to sort of open up against, and it would be such a statement win if they got this upset, right?
It'd be absolutely huge, and as you say, not only is it a good level of team for them to be coming up against, but it's a team that, while being near the top of the UK, as you said, is occasionally looking like they're having a few struggles adjusting to that new player coming in. You know, having replaced Queen of Scots with Sortea, there are definitely cracks in the rotations at times. You know, they're not quite playing up to the level that this roster has the potential to. And TUD8s, when they're on, they're a team that's super fun to watch. You know, they're so fluid. The ball movement is fantastic with them, and they have some really clever passing plays in front of goal. And so there's definitely a chance, as you say, you know, that this is a kind of squad that they can upset. And it'll be a huge start to the tournament if they do manage to pull this off. Although, with that said, you know, I'm using the word upset, and I think I'll stick by that. It still would be a little bit of an upset if they manage to come away tonight with it.
Yeah, I'm hoping for, you know, just an equally close series. But in terms of the bar of a series, it's been set very high coming out the door with our first series. A game 5 overtime. You know, I'd take one of them again any day. So that's what we're aiming for. Who knows what we'll get, though? Of course, the other teams in Group C for those two, the likes of Bournemouth Barracudas, Groningen, the Martinis, you know, but you've also got, you know, trying to fight for that top 5, the likes of University of Brussels. You've got Durham Defenders, but Wet Tiger. You've also got Engine Stuttgart, and I think the loser of this series probably has to look towards Stuttgart as sort of their next target, because they really need to see like what sort of heads they can step on to climb their way in terms of getting out of the group. But how do you feel like Stuttgart might actually fare in this group as the team coming out of the Uniliga in Germany, in terms of whether or not they can get 5 and whether or not they could even get top 3 to stay in upper bracket?
I think they definitely can get into the top 5, as they are a team that is performing pretty good against like lower teams, but they haven't kind of struggled against the really good teams. So
yeah,
they could get into the top 3 for sure, as they have really 2 individual great players who could make a difference in these games.
Yeah, and I just think, well, they'll be watching this series, probably keeping an eye on the likes of competition they'll be having to go up against in the coming weeks, as you are desperate to get off to a good start in your group, and that's exactly what the UEA Blue Jays and the TUD8s will be looking to do in this matchup, as it is just about time that I think we make our predictions as well. I may have been wrong last time predicting the Badgers, and, you know, I may rate the TUD8s very highly despite their results in Society Showdown with a sub. I think that I'm very much worried right now, but Ant-Man, you know, he's working in the studio, full-time DJ for sure. You know, he's getting all of the rap battles out, but I think he's still got enough time to practice, and he, of course, come off the Supreme Trials 1v1 show match. We may no longer be in 1v1, but I will still back the UEA Blue Jays, because I feel like they will not forgive me if I don't. Though I am worried, I will stick with the UEA Blue Jays. This time, I will go straight to you, Nieuweleg. And who have you got taking this series?
I mean, my head says UEA Blue Jays as well, but my heart says TUD8s, and I've never been a smart man, so I'm going to stick with my heart on this one, and I'm going to go with the TUD8s to take it down. Bit of national pride on that one. I have faith in the Irish boys to do this.
That's fair. I mean, seeing you'd be going 2-2 for the day, I've already ruined my perfect prediction streak. But Wet Tiger coming onto the panel, can you get it? First time lucky, and you'll be deciding who the panel predicts as a whole. Will it be the UEA Blue Jays from East Anglia, do you think? Or will the Irish side, TUD8s, be able to come out on top?
I think we can't see an upset here. I think it will be the Blue Jays who will win the game by 3-1.
3-1. I like that. 3-1 Blue Jays. I can maybe get behind that. I'm sure they can as well. But I'm strapping myself in for just as close as a series as what we've just had. And of course, we'll be casting it once again, not myself, but it'd be Dennis who would be throwing 2-1 away, and he'd be joined by Nieuweleg. How are you doing, Dennis?
Yeah, well, after that first series, I'm still holding my breath a little bit. It has been a phenomenal series. Of course, going to game number 5 OT, 4 minutes OT then. And yeah, I think, this game could be a very close game, of course. We have, one side that are the favorites here, but, we thought that as well of the last series, where we thought, probably it will be Birmingham was probably going to be a little bit the better side against Twente. Twente, not the best team in the Netherlands, and in the end, still Twente beat them in game number 5 OT. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how, of course, Dublin will play against the Blue Jays. It's going to be really interesting being the underdogs as well. But I think we can just start this series off. So yeah, Nieuweleg, you can take it off.
Yeah, we'll take it away, and we are directly underway. And Dennis, I mean, as you said, as everyone has said, we're just hoping for a series that's half as exciting as the series we got to kick it off. And I'm personally hoping that TUD Dublin show up as the best form of themselves in this. And we're going to see them early on getting into the UEA half, but not much of it just for the time being. As Shane now will follow this up. I called it out. I said, TUD on their day, they play clever Rocket League. They play good passing Rocket League. And we're almost seeing it here as the ball off the back wall is threatening, but then Cannon will be bumped out of the way, and that's clever Rocket League in the other direction by UEA as well. Already physical play coming through from them, and it's allowing them to ease off that pressure, get a little bit of their own.
Both falling into the middle. KJ can't get any hits on it, and now it will be Parable trying to get some control on it. Can't quite get it past the defender. Now we see the East Anglian side trying to get into the offense. Of course, the Blue Jays, the favorites here in this series, but so far it has been a goalless game so far. Now we see the first goal.
Let's go! TUD! That's the first goal for TUD, and hey, this is the place I want to see out of them, Dennis. This is them coming off the back wall, and Parable's just up quick. UEA defense nowhere inside.
Parable, what a great shot that was. 114 kph into the goal, banged into the goal, and yeah, not much, the Blue Jays could do against it. It is, of course, the favorites here in the Blue Jays, but against a play like that, you can't do much. So 1 minute in, and we already see the second, and Cannon, what does he get it in? Just before the 4 minute mark, but we already see a 2-goal lead here by the Dublin side.
Yeah, and that's the result of just 2 quick 50-50s going in favour of TU Dublin. They're just winning the ball. It's moving towards the UEA goal off of those 50s too consistently, and UEA are going to have to sort that out a little bit as we head longer in this game.
Yeah, great start for them. 2 goals up here, and now it is the time for the Blue Jays to pop off to see what they are able to do here in this series. Of course, last series we saw 20, of course, having a really rough first game, but then in the end winning the game or winning the series still. And we might see the same with the Blue Jays. Now they're coming into the offense, but it is not enough yet to get themselves the first goal of the series.
Not quite, but those shots are just rattling off the post, and that's now a bit of life out of UEA, looking for shots themselves, looking for pressure in the middle of the pitch, but a big miss there will mean that it's TUD back on the offense. This ball's high, Parable's upward, Parable with the chance to shoot, he's going to go for the double touch instead, and will just come right at the post, had an open net on the first shot, chose to go for the double touch, and has just missed out on that, hasn't opened up the lead to 3-0, and it'll give UEA the chance to go back. That's a good 50 this time around, they're in front of the goal, and it's difficult for TUD, they've not quite managed to get it through. That is a huge defensive play by Parable to lift it over the head of the offense, and now TUD have made their way back into this blue half, and will look once again to turn a shot onto target. Denied this time, so Ortega up high, chasing it down, will get a shot on target. Defensive rotations are good for TUD, and they're just playing that little bit quicker than UEA right now. The shots aren't quite getting there before the defense comes through from TUD.
Yeah, so far it has been, of course, TUD with 2 goals, but now they're a little bit under pressure. It will be, Blue Jays with a lot of pressure now on the TU Dublin side, getting the shots in, but none of them are enough yet to get the first goal. The play is demoed, the defender is demoed, no third man into the goal, and now finally they have scored the first goal from them in this series. It will be End who's getting the very first goal, and approaching half time, they're kind of coming back into this game.
Yeah, they're definitely starting to look a little bit more threatening, and that was a huge demo. It was something we saw from UEA very early in this game, as they started off going for those bump plays, and they found their stride with them again there. And it's always nice to score when you're two goals down instead of 3 goals down. That'll leave them just 1 goal behind, and looking to come back in this game, looking to come back and actually potentially win it. That's dangerous. Those Ortega can't get a very great touch to this. Who's up there first? It will be KJ for the Blue Jays. That means it'll be a big clear all the way down to the end of the pitch. Parable over the defender. Shane getting a tip for it. It's there for Anton. Good passing play. It's not going to come quite on target. Parable has to follow, but it's not there again. Shane is on the wrong side of the goal and can't get the touch on the back post. But that is once again just good passing play coming out of TUD. They're finding each other consistently in the middle of the pitch and in front of goal.
Yeah, the passing plays are popping off from the TU Dublin side. Just the accuracy is lacking a little bit. It definitely could have been the 3rd goal for TU Dublin side, and this definitely could have been as well, but it will stay on 2 and still keeps a 1-goal deficit, and will still be Blue Jays staying alive in this game number 1.
And that's across the face goal again, but absolutely that should have been the 3rd goal for TU Dublin. Nearly again, Parable with a good 50. In the red car for me at the moment. Hopefully that's not an issue on screen as well. But hey, look, the main thing is TU Dublin should be 3-1 up right now, and instead Ortega's coming back at them very quickly. Will be denied there by N Cannon, who's managed to find Shane. Shane with a good turn will head it towards Ant-Man, and Ant-Man's just going to travel this towards the defence. Back over on the wall for Shane. Will probably look for a team in the middle. Has found N Cannon, and Cannon nearly has the shot. It's jumping off the roof, and there's no follow-up there from TU Dublin for the time being. This is awkward for Parable, who will touch it sideways. Good defensive play from them once again, and once again the rotations from TUD are finding other players on their team time and time again, as they're now pushing back on the UEA goal. There's only a minute left here, and it's still UEA looking to find just 1 more goal to keep themselves tied in this game 1.
Yeah, 1 minute to go, but we see the Blue Jays trying to get some offense going, and that definitely was their chance. Antman is missing the ball, had a clear shot, but can't quite get any contact with the ball. Now we see Shane going for the shot. He's going to be in. Oh, that was very too close for comfort for the TU Dublin side. or for the Blue Jays side, I have to say. But in the end, it is not going to reward them into a goal. It will still be a 1-goal deficit now. It is East Anglia with the offense, but it is not going in. It's 30 seconds to go, and we see a very back and forth play right now.
30 seconds to go, and TU Dublin are back on the offense, back on the UEA half. They're looking threatening while they do so, but this is a good job of getting clear. And with only 20 seconds left now, it's on the Blue Jays to find this goal, and they're running out of time to do it. They'll be given a chance to do it as TU Dublin give them the ball back in front to go. Shane's been 50! Shane's been 50! Zortea has scored with 14 seconds left on the clock. We are all square in a game that TU Dublin should have closed up multiple times.
Zortea, and don't ask me how he got it in, just got it past both defenders first at 50, and then get it with the 50, got it past the last man as well, and 2 goals down. Well, make that equalize now, 13 seconds to go. And well, I'm not gonna say this game might go to OT because I said the last series, and we saw, you know, the I thought we saw a winner then, but we saw OT in the end happening in that game. So, you know, I'm not gonna say it, but you know, it is now TU Dublin with the offense trying to keep it up, but now it will be dropped, and now I can say securely that it will be going to overtime.
Yeah, it's pretty secure, you know, once the overtime is starting, that we are in fact in overtime here in game number 1, and it's going to be an exciting one. TU Dublin will be kicking themselves if they let this one slip, especially if they let this one slip. Words are difficult, especially if it is an early goal. It won't be though, and now the ball is back in the UEA half. Spent a lot of time here this game. Shane has no boost to push this one. That's just a great shot. Shane is just trying to sneak this one in, and he will. That was such a perfect shot. No boost on Shane, but finds the angle perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, it isn't even the fastest shot, but it is just enough to get it past all defenders. Just, yeah, very well placed, and just getting it off the post. Well, it's not in, but it is creating an all-open net for his teammate, and it will be the very first game for TU Dublin. Of course, they were 2 goals up, kind of gave it away, got this game to OT. So yeah, good job by the Blue Jays, but in OT it just wasn't enough. In the end, you know, just a 1-goal deficit in OT, of course, and TU Dublin will take the very first game of the series.
I mean, Dennis, it ended up going to overtime, but if I'm honest, and maybe there's some bias creeping through here as the Irish caster casting an Irish game, but it felt to me TU Dublin were just the stronger team for a lot of that game. It probably shouldn't even have made it to overtime. They just missed some open chances that really East Anglia weren't in a position to stop, and if they hadn't, TU Dublin probably run away with that game 3-1, 4-1 in you know, just regular time.
Yeah, you know, 2 goals at start, and then at the end they also had a lot of chances to get their third, but in the end they just waited with the 3rd goal until overtime, and you know, very too close for comfort for them, but in the end they still sneak out the win. Yeah, it is, you know, the Blue Jays of course being the favorite side, but here they are, you know, coping with a 1 game lose here, and they instantly in this series they have to prove themselves right. You know, they need to equalize in this series. They need to win it, because otherwise, just like last series, I've said it as well, it will be the Dublin side going to game 3 with, you know, match point. And of course, being the Irish caster, you are the Irish caster, you love to see it, but you know, definitely the Blue Jays definitely want to let it happen otherwise.
I'm sure there are many English viewers on stream as well. Probably not going to love it as well, but it'll be fine. And this is Blue Jays now. They're really attacking a good demo and Tracy goal. Encannon is under that, and that's an easy goal knocked in by KJ. Off once again, a good demo for East Anglia.
Well, yeah, I've said, you know, the Blue Jays, they need to win this game. They started very strong, really aggressive game, just going out of attack after the kickoff, and it worked out. You know, the really aggressive plays, though. We need that goal, I just hear the players say, and they actually did it. The 10 seconds into this game, and already they have the first goal of this game number 2.
Oh, and Powerball under pressure there already. Game 2, goal 2, nearly so going in game 2, but it won't for the time being. Now Powerball is making the run down the other end of the pitch. 50 is good, and Connon's up off the back wall, will pinch it a bit too high, and Shane needs to be careful not to get caught out. We'll be up first to that ball, and that'll keep UEA from getting anything too quick going on the counter-attack. Powerball wins that race to the ball again, and once again it's UEA being pinned a little bit in their half. And honestly, it's felt like the rotations are a little bit sloppier from UEA, but the demos are allowing them to make sure that TUD can't take advantage of too often, and they're kind of slowing TUD down when they can get those demos. They need to go for them a little bit more aggressively, perhaps. But then Cannon's going to get a shooting chance, blocked by Zortea. Good speed on that one, is following it as well. And this time it'll be Shane who gets the demo. It'll be Powerball turning on this ball. It'll be a clear for TUD only as far as UEA. We're once again coming back to turn that man over the top of the entire defense. Encannon is getting 50, and they've denied UEA for the time being.
Yeah, so far it is still the Blue Jays in the lead after the quick goal in 10 seconds in this game number 2. Now we see Shane with the ball to the left side. It will be his teammate trying to create something out of it, but Powerball just can't make it to his teammate. And Cannon now tries to clear out the ball And now he's done perfectly, actually. There's now the ball for Parable. Can't quite get it past defender. Enman now trying to get it all the way across. Can't get into the goal, but there was a great air dribble. But now we still see some pressure coming out of the East Anglian side. But so far, it's still a lead for, the East Anglian side.
And they're feeling comfortable right now, but not too comfortable. TUD are on the attack, they're on hung, and they're getting some good looks on net. None of them have turned in just yet, none of them have even really resulted in shots. They're definitely UEA running away with us one at the time being. So Ortega will turn that one across face of goal. It'll only go as far as Parable. So far in this game as well, we definitely haven't seen the passing plays that were characterizing TUD in game 1. They were really ripping apart this UEA defense. And I don't know if that's a function of UEA kind of just getting a little bit more comfortable on their rotations, or TUD just aren't finding each other as effectively.
Well, yeah, maybe it is, a little bit of a combination of both. Yeah, in the end, it is still, TU Dublin. They're just trying, they're in the offense yet again, but every time it's just not enough. The passing plays, they're there, but it's just not connecting that much as they would have hoped for. Now, looks like an open and Ozorti can come back in time, and we are still, playing here in game number 2. Half time to be played for both teams, and East Anglia still with a 1 goal lead. The Blue Jays with a 1 goal lead, which they definitely need. Of course, they're 1 game down, but it will be definitely TU Dublin trying to get this game to the end as well. But like this, it's not really looking hopeful because they're under some pressure now.
Yeah, TU Dublin struggling to even get this ball clear of their own half, and they need that first goal. Shane is going to try and dribble it, but has no boost once again. And Cannon will be the first one up to this. Can he find a teammate? No, he'll find an opponent on the wall instead. And that means TU Dublin's goal is once again under pressure. Can KJ get around this one? He'll just leave it for Antman, who lands well, gets under the ball, and scores a goal, top right corner with no defenders inside.
Yeah, a little bit of an overcommit there from Parable, and that's going to be an easy goal for Antman. He's just, flicking it in. No open net, not the hardest shot to make, and in the end, East Anglia will get themselves in the lead here in game number 2, which they, of course, like I've already said, they really need that. Now, 2 goals up, it looks like, they have some confidence, and definitely when this happens, KJ will just get it in from the backboard. 1 minute 47 seconds to go, and it looks like a disaster now for TU Dublin.
Yeah, it was just an awkward kickoff, and Cannon not able to get up to it. Shane and Parable missing on the rotation as well. Now it's 3-0. University of East Anglia coming in as the favourites, now settling into game number 2, and they're starting to feel a little bit better. They're just much faster in defense. They're cutting out these TUD offensive rotations and the TUD passes before TUD can even get near the goal. TUD's defense is suffering for it. They're spending a lot more time in their own half than I'm sure they'd like. A minute and a half left. Ortega will cut this one out. Parable in the corner following it. Will get this one, but it won't. Will drop to just about a TUD player, but not in any position that they can do anything with. And this is exactly what I'm just talking about. It's just not dropping 4 TUD players to 2 UD players as they would have liked, as what's happening in game 1. And Ortega makes fools of the TUD defense and just dribbles through them all.
So Ortega, oh my, what a play that was. Faking out one, getting a ground pinch as well off the backboard, and all open net for KJ. But that goal is just all credits to Sortea with a great assist. 4 goals up now. East Anglia, the Blue Jays, here back in this series. We have seen it last series where, the one team gets, quite convincing win. But then the game after, it is just, the other team coming back from that and equalizing this series. Of course, in game number 2, can't see it going to TU Dublin anymore as we see East Anglia with a 4-goal lead, 1 minute to go. Definitely, it has been a great performance by them.
Even these 50s that were going TUD's way a lot of the way in game number 1, that's been cleaned up by East Anglia. You can see they're taking Parable potentially trying to score the ceiling shot on his own goal. Won't do it though, and Shane will miss the clear off the back wall, and all of a sudden TU Dublin, getting held scoreless is one thing. Getting held scoreless while it feels like you haven't even really gotten a decent look at the opponent's net in a game 2 after you win game 1, that's not going to feel good for them. It's going to be tough for them heading into game 3 of this series if they are held scoreless here, Dennis.
Yeah, well, we have to see, of course. Some momentum would be nice for TU Dublin side to at least get one single goal, get some momentum. Now maybe Parable with another flick reset. Is it going to be no? It is just his teammate getting it off the post, but nearly. That was the first goal for TU Dublin after a great play by Parable.
Parable could not have done much more there, even after he ran out of boost. Found the flip reset pass to Shane, but Shane just banging it wide up the top left corner. TU Dublin, they're looking to be held scoreless here. Is the follow up there? No, KJ gets the clear as far as Ortega. Ortega will get it all the way down the pitch, and TU Dublin will just let it drop. And that is going to be game number 2, going to East Anglia. After TU Dublin came out a little bit surprising, looked better in game 1. East Anglia cleaned it up throughout that game 1, brought us to an overtime, lost in overtime, but in this game 2, they're just continuing to hit higher and higher gears while it feels like TU Dublin are kind of stuck grinding.
Yeah, well, TU Dublin, they definitely tried for that, for that win, but in the end, 4 goals down. They tried to make something out of it, still 1 goal, but they couldn't do that anyways. Also 1 goal was just too much to ask for, and this game, was quite early already decided by 3 quite early goals from the East Anglian side, and in the end, TU Dublin, they couldn't quite get some pressure on the East Anglian side, and 4 goals down. Yeah, it's just not been, their game. They need to get themselves together. Of course, game 1 was really convincing from them. It's going to be the question how they will play in game number 3. Of course, a very important game for them here in game number 3. For both teams, actually, the game to get into match point in game number 4. So this game is going to be vital in this best of 5 series.
It's going to be huge. I mean, game 3 in any best of 5 series, I mean, it's always very important. It's the turning point, the midpoint of the series, potentially. And, it's important. Either it's going to be match point for one of the teams, or you're tied up at 1-1 at this point, and one of the teams is going to be heading onto match point. And right now, either of these teams, TU Dublin, they need to find their way back into the series. I'm sure they'd love to be on match point right now. But all the momentum is on the side of East Anglia, and I'm struggling a little bit to see what TUD Dublin do, because it felt like East Anglia just upped every part of their game here in game number 2.
Yeah, it looked like their defense was just being really, really strong. They didn't let any goal coming in, even though TU Dublin, they really tried. After the game number 1, it was really East Anglia really having the defense under control. No single goal conceded in game number 2, of course, and 4 goals created. Well, that's how you play Rocket League. That's how you win games. Have your defense strong, and in the end, your offense is also there. Accuracy is right there, and yeah, if they're going to continue that in game number 3, we can see why they are the favorites going into this series. Of course, they've lost the game number 1, and we might see a fully recovered East Anglian side here.
Yeah, that's a terrifying thing if you are an Irish fan, if you're a TU Dublin fan, whatever you are, or if you're just a fan of going to game 5, because if East Anglia continues to play like that and TU Dublin can't step it up here for game 3, for game 4, this is going to start to look like it's going to be a 4-game series for East Anglia very quickly. We are just having a slight delay as we get players back into a lobby, and we should be there very quickly. And Dennis, I mean, what did TU Dublin do? You're saying defense is important, you're saying offense is important. These are obviously staples. But if we were looking at specifics, I mean, where do TU Dublin start to turn this around? I mean, do they start going for demo plays? Do they start just looking for more of these passes that we saw in game 1? Or do they just have to focus on defense entirely, turtle up, and hope that East Anglia can't find a way through?
Well, I think it's really the case of controlling the ball a lot more than that they did in game number 2. Of course, in game number 2, we haven't really seen much offense from them, but when they had a chance, we didn't really see much from them. Of course, we saw them banging the ball away, trying to, get the ball out of the defense, but, if you keep doing that, of course, the ball will keep coming back. So that really was something that, they really got to improve in game number 3. Controlling the ball, trying to make some, offensive plays, but first of all, trying to get some control on the ball. Possession is really important in game number 3 for TU Dublin.
So that's it. We'll be looking for TU Dublin's offense to actually keep control, keep those passing plays moving, and potentially find them a few shots on target. Easier said than done, of course, and I think especially, East Anglia, when they've cleaned up those defensive rotations, the clears are coming through. And what we've seen as well from East Anglia that worked for them to start that game off, to get one of their goals in game 1, is the demo plays. And it's something we haven't seen out of TU Dublin at all so far in this series. It's just being physical, just trying to break up those rotations. And I think looking at East Anglia, looking at how they kind of spent a few seconds, spent a couple of minutes in game 1 trying to actually sort out those rotations, or maybe tripping over themselves a little bit. It feels to me like the demo plays could be very effective in this series if TU Dublin start just trying to take players out of the rotation.
Yeah, of course, last game we saw a lot of them is coming out of the East Anglian side. So maybe, the tactic of your opponents, if that works well against you, you might as well try it against them as well. It's, they say, if you can't beat them, join them. So we might see that happening here from the TU Dublin side in game number 3. Of course, all equalized, not much pressure on the TU Dublin side. If they lose this one, they still have a life left. They can still win the series by winning 2 games in a row, but that's going to be really, really hard for them, of course. The TU Dublin side, of course, they will be really sad not winning this game or winning last game number 2, but, they had a decent win in game number 1. Game number 2, losing with 4-0. So do you maybe think that, losing with 4 goals will difficult them? Do you think it's going to be a lot of momentum coming in for the East Anglia side now?
I can't see any way that it wouldn't be. This has got to be East Anglia feeling good. But at the same time, I mean, you and me, the viewers at home can't see it, but we've been keeping an eye on the lobby chat. Both of these teams definitely still seem to be having a good time anyway. I think there's some marriage proposals getting thrown around in there as well. And it does finally look like we have all the players in the lobby. Dennis, we don't need to stall anymore. We can actually just watch some Rocket League like we are here to do. Both teams joining the sides, everyone in. We've got a new server. Everyone should be happy about it. And maybe that's all TU Dublin need. Is the new server, new me, new game.
Yeah, you'll have to see it. All green little pings from all the 6 players. So no ping issues from them, hopefully, in this game number 3. Well, we have seen the game kicked off now. As you see N-Man trying to keep the ball up, trying to make the first offense of the game. And this needs to, of course, be the game for TU Dublin. If they lose this one, it could definitely be a big upset for TU Dublin. They really need to get this game, because otherwise it will be East Anglia with a lot of momentum coming into the next game.
This is East Anglia looking so threatening already. Shane has to get a touch of that, and does, but it's there again. N-Cannon and Shane both commit to that one, and it'll be up to Parable to get clear finally, but it's only gone as far as KJ, who'll keep pressure on the TU Dublin goal. Will get a second touch of that to beat N-Cannon, and now it's just a 50-50, and Ant-Man just sneaks that one in. The slowest goal you'll see in this entire tournament, but it's managed to beat out Shane with just perfect timing.
Yeah, just, in the end, he was just quick enough to get it. Well, the shot isn't quick, but it will just work. It just rolls into the goal, and it will be East Anglia, the Blue Jays, with the first goal of this game, number 3.
Yeah, and that's got to feel bad for TU Dublin. That's a good catch by Shane off kickoff, but it'll stay there for Zortea to pick up, and Shane now finally gets clear out of the TU Dublin half, something they have been struggling to do. And struggling to get into this game at all. As Parable will just run into Ant-Man, and then N-Cannon will just leave the ball in the middle of the pitch for KJ to snap up. And right now, TU Dublin just can't get anything going at all. They can't even break free of their own half. If they can't break free of their own half, well, now they've finally done it. Shane, chance to shoot. Shane will shoot, and Shane will sneak it in. I've managed to reverse jinx them. I'm the greatest caster alive, Dennis.
Shane with the goal here, with the equalizer as well. Great shot from him, just getting it past KJ, who was just rotating back. Can't do much against that shot, to be honest. He just rotated back post, like a normal defender would do. In the end, a little bit too slow, and TU Dublin with Shane will equalize here. They needed that as well. They need this game. They were 1 goal down. We might see TU Dublin completely back in the series now.
Oh, we might in Parable. That could be the shot to do it as well. No, Zortea will block, but the follow-up is here for Shane. Will be put high by Ant-Man, and Cannon up now will manage to do it. And this is all of a sudden TUD managing to find shots, managing to find pressure around. Shane is up fastest to that again, and Parable is just going to try and dunk on Zortea. Won't quite, as the ball pinches out to the near far wall, and Shane will get bumped out of the way. Should give UEA a chance to clear. They will finally do so as the ball now heads towards the halfway line. Parable chips it over 1 though, and Parable is not done yet. Has been just so big all series long for TU Dublin. Has been creating those chances. As Shane gets them in the middle pitch, and nothing will come of this attempt as N-Cannon flies past the ball as well. And now it's back the other way. Is that just lobbed all the way? And no, Parable is back in defense, and UEA are just looking threatening again. They don't want TU Dublin to have everything to do in this game.
Yeah, UEA definitely, they are really keen to get the second goal of the game. Well, the second goal from them in this game. The third goal of the game in general, but so far Xerxes trying to keep it up, but we have seen a lot of offense on TU Dublin side as well. They have 6 shots against only 2 of the East Anglian side, so if the accuracy is just a little bit better from TU Dublin side, I can definitely see them winning this game number 3, but they need to pick up that accuracy. Maybe now we can see an attempt. No, it's not going to be a backboard read from N-Cannon to now approach half-time with still an equalized score.
Yeah, and accuracy issues. They kind of plagued TU Dublin in game number 1 as well, so they'll be hoping to clean that up here. My Parable has a chance to knock this one off the back wall. Will do so. Who's there? Shane is up for it. Shane under 1, Shane under 2, and Shane will knock it in. It's the second goal for TU Dublin, and that's accuracy, even if it does come off the back of a UEA miss off the back wall.
Yeah, accuracy, definitely. It has been a very good shot. We saw KJ just waiting in goal. Nothing he could do. Stunned on the ground. And there it is. It is the second goal for TU Dublin. But still 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. So a lot of time still for the East Anglian side. And not, it's just too much time for the TU Dublin side to just defend right now. If you keep defending, then the 1 goal will fall definitely from the UEA side. But now we see still TU Dublin in the offense, can't be rewarded with a 3rd goal, but 2 minutes to go, and they were still trying to get another goal there.
That was Shane trying to do to Ant-Man what Ant-Man had done to Shane at the other end of the pitch. Just sneak one in slowly. But it didn't work out this time. That's a huge banger of a shot by Ant-Man. Nearly finds the top right corner. Big save by N-Cannon. But Ant-Man has stolen away boost and is sitting in this corner. KJ will just drop this one in front of the goal. And it was a good job by TU Dublin to not all commit to that ball. And that'll mean they get it clear. It'll mean they have a reprieve for the moment. They should be able to get this one down. Ammo with another touch. Shane is just sitting in front of the goal. This time around, Shane is the last man back, does his job and gets the ball clear of his own half. And we'll be looking for the counter attack. Has teammates in the middle. Will just be denied by KJ in the corner, who didn't want to wait and let Shane have a run up on that one. It's just UEA defending well, They're pushing up aggressively, but they are still a goal down. They need to push this forward aggressively, and they need to get these counter-attacks off and find a goal of their own in the near future.
Yeah, definitely. They can't stick in defense. 1 minute pretty much to go in this game number 3. Of course, the game full match point. And right now, it looks like it's going to be to the Irish. But so far, it has been some offense from the East Anglian side as well. But this time, yet again, they can't get it in the goal. Now, there'll be an offense for the TU Dublin side. But also, they can't find the goal. So 50 seconds to go. And we see a very back and forth play. But it is East Anglia with... they desperately need a goal right now.
Desperately do, and they're up for it. There's 2 members of TUD up for that. Is the defense there? Parable with a good rotation, but it's just going to drop in front of the TU goal. Ant-Man is beaten out by Shane this time around. So Ortega has to turn, has enough boost to do something, but Shane is up so quickly, he's just chasing. And it'll finally just hang around in front of the UEA goal. Clear isn't there yet, it's dropping aggressively. Ant-Man has to get this touch, and does. Shane once again bangs it up. Guillotine's going to just drop in front of this goal. Not going to drop to a TU Dublin member though, and they will not find a goal. They were in this position in game 1 as well. They let another one slip in regulation time and brought it to overtime. This time around, they will look to close it out. They don't want to let one more goal in the 15 seconds remaining. Shane is under this, chooses not to go for the boost, and will be beaten out by Zortea. One more chance for UEA Blue Jays. They'll be looking for this. It's directly given to them. My computer is about to die, I believe, which is a little bit unfortunate. Good luck with this. It looks like it's going to drop.
It will be TU Dublin with the win as well. I think Mac Ogas just his computer died a little bit, but TU Dublin will definitely take this victory in the end with a 1-goal lead as well. So yeah, very good win from them, of course. TU Dublin just snatching the win in, and well, they're in match point. So I'm not sure if Mac Ogas is here. I don't know if he can hear me. Neolek, are you here? I believe that's a no. I think I'm just going to say on. So TU Dublin with a 1-goal lead, of course, a 1-goal win as well. So game number 3 on their end. So game number 4 will definitely be a very, very important game for East Anglia. They need to get it. They need to win here to send this series to a game number 5. Just like we've seen in the first series, you know, we have seen a 2-1 win or 2-1 lead for the one side in the series, and now it needs to be the other side to take this game. Of course, this time it will be East Anglia who need to take the victory. And well, in the end, TU Dublin, well, they've on their ends now. Of course, they've won the game number 1. They've won game number 3 and lost game number 2 actually quite convincingly. But East Anglia couldn't do any single thing against that here in game number 3. So it's going to be really, really important to see TU Dublin trying to keep up the offense like they've done in last game. So yeah, I'm just rambling about a little bit, just waiting for the other calls to join in. But yeah, TU Dublin, a very, very good performance by them in game number 3, of course. And now if they do it again in game number 4, we might be seeing them here in game number 4 getting the victory as well, trying to get this series to their end. And East Anglia, they have a lot of stuff to prove. They have a lot of stuff to do. Of course, they were the favorites going into the series, and well, it's going to be really important to see TU Dublin East Anglia trying to get this victory and send the series to game number 5. I think my Kokos is back. Neolek, are you here?
I am. I'm back. And look, I mean, if my computer was going to die with a classic case of too many Chrome tabs and not enough ventilation, then look, it could have done it at a worse time. I managed to just about see the end of that game, saw the ball drop for TU Dublin, and hey, we're heading to a game 4 with TU Dublin in control. They're on the match point. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited as well. Of course, this, like I've already said, East Anglia, this should be their game. This needs to be their game. They need to win this one. And if they don't, of course, we see TU Dublin going away with a 3-1 victory, 3-1 win here in the here in Group C, of course. So definitely they will take that in this very, very tough group, to be honest. You know, you see some very great teams. But yeah, just here on the pitch as well in game number 4, we see 2 very great teams as well. 6 very, very skilled players. The question is, which 3 players are going to win this game number 4?
It's tough call at this point. As look, I'm desperately trying to get back into this lobby. I'm sure I'll be there before too much longer. But TU Dublin, I mean, they picked it back up after a dominant game 2 performance by the UEA Blue Jays. TU Dublin have come back. They're looking fast, and the passing plays were kind of starting to drop. That's not what won them that game 3, but it definitely helped them keep the pressure on UEA as the series went on.
Yeah, and just like you've mentioned, TU Dublin scoring the very first goal of this game number 4. Shane with a great aerial from him, and Cannon with a pass into the middle. And Shane just beats out defender. Great accuracy as well, as he just bangs the ball into the goal. And well, nothing really the defender could do there. East Anglia already 1 goal down. Shane with the goal, and now we see Shane from the goal already going in the kickoff, trying to win it, but it's going to the side. Well, it's going to the side of East Anglia, which is really good. Well done by Shane. Obviously, Zortea without boost, trying to follow it up, trying to get a ball into the middle. Ant-Man tries to get it into the middle, tries to get it again, but can't quite get it. So now see Cannon pushing the ball to the side wall. Now see Parable keeps on going with the ball, trying to get something out of this, but will be saved by Ant-Man. And I think you're in the game now, don't you?
Yep, I'm spectating on Discord. Look, it's all working out, and that's going to be shot on target, and it doesn't matter whether or not I can see stuff. Shane scored, and that is TU Dublin with another goal here in this game.
Yeah, Shane, he scored so many goals already for the Irish side, and here he is yet again. Second shot, second goal for him. And well, we have seen 6 shots from the TU Dublin side and 0 shots from the East Anglian side. I would have expected East Anglia to pop off. Of course, they had a little break after the last game, and yeah, well, they didn't really do much with it, it looks like. Definitely not the start that they would have hoped for in this game number 4. And the Dublin side, you know, they're just firing shot after shot. And, you know, not everything goes in. But, you know, if you just keep the defense clean, which they're definitely doing right now, then I can see a Dublin win and a Dublin victory in the series as well.
Absolutely, it's one of the truisms for Rocket League. Just keep banging shots, and you know, some of them will stick eventually. And it's working for TU Dublin right now. That's a huge shot. It's going to come off awkwardly, and Parable will get the clear. That was nearly a chance for UEA. They weren't expecting the bench. No one was expecting that then. And it'll mean that it's just TUD back on the offense up the other end of the pitch. Ant-Man will just try to carry this forward. Will manage to get it past one. Shane just sitting under, can't do much better for the time being. UEA up with this one touch. Can the second come through? Second will come through, but it's not quite good. Sneaks off the crossbar and out, and a huge pinch means that the clear is there. TU Dublin will be chasing this one down and just trying to keep more and more pressure on UEA. That's a good pass to Parable, who will just launch it directly into the UEA defense. And now it is Ant-Man up, looking for this one touch, looking for the two. It's these double touches off the back wall. UEA have tried for several of them now, and they're just not finding them. The backboard defense from TU Dublin has been there.
Yeah, definitely, you know, just banging the ball on the backboard from TU Dublin. It's just not working out for them. It's not working out for East Anglia, and you know, it's game number 4. They should have seen that by now already. You know, just getting the ball onto the backboard. The backboard is defended by TU Dublin. So yeah, here once again, well, this time it's not defended. A demo coming in, and this time it will work for them as Ant-Man will come back here and bring back the deficit by 1 goal.
Yeah, absolutely great on that one. I think the demo, as much as anything, it's what's worked for East Anglia so many times in this series. In game 1 as well. Again, when they were 2 goals down, the demo got them that 1 goal to bring them back within 1 goal. And I'd love to see more out of it, more of these demos out of East Anglia right now, because they're definitely helping them break up the TUD defense.
Yeah, definitely. Those demos there in the fight or in the upcoming, you know, 2.5 minutes. Half-time still to be played in game number 4. And if the score keeps like this, we see 1 winner, 1 series winner as well in the Dublin side. But it is not there yet. It is still a journey to be played here in this last game potentially. But Zortea will definitely try to not let this be the last game. Zortea will get the second goal, and the comeback is already here from the East Anglian side.
Yeah, and Cannon and Shane just a little bit all over each other in that corner. Not sure who was getting the ball clear, and in the end, neither of them gets a good clear, and that will mean that we are all tied up here. We could, once again, Dennis, be looking at an overtime here in game 4 to take us all the way, but there's still plenty of game time left in this. Still plenty of time for TUD or for the side of UEA to get another goal in. It's UEA launching at the end of the pitch. Parable's under this. Parable needs to get a touch. Will just about get under that. That was scary, and it's just left a shooting chance for UEA. They won't find it this time as Parable's recovery was good enough. But TU Dublin are struggling to get this ball clear of their own half. And this has been the story of the UEA offense. When they are on, they are on. And TU Dublin just feel pinned up here.
Yeah, definitely. It's every time East Anglia, they need some warm-up, you know. They're like an engine. They just have to get that warm-up, and in the end, you know, it just clicks. This time as well, they were 2 goals down. I think we have seen that like before here in this game, or like in another game already, that we have seen Dublin with, you know, quite a convincing lead, but still East Anglia coming back quite strong. And in this game number 4, they definitely did so. And now we see Dublin, well, Parable nearly with a great double, but can't quite make it into the goal. But now we see Dublin again with some offenses. And of course, they're just 1 game away from winning their first series. And East Anglia just needs to beat the game. But so far, you know, they had a good comeback, but it's not over yet.
Definitely not over just yet. TU Dublin will need to do a little bit more here, and they won't do it from their own half unless something miraculous happens and East Anglia all just decide to leave their goal alone, and that might be exactly what's happened. KJ will get a crack throw this one on time, but Shane is looking for the shot. Will be denied by 2 members of East Anglia. Will be Zortea now to try and carry this one out the length of the pitch. Flips under it. will get a clear for the time being. Parable, though, will not find the follow-up touch, and so it'll be UEA with men in the middle looking for the pass to come through. Shane, though, carries clear. How much boost does he have? Can he get this one all the way? It'll be taken over, and once again, it's just TU Dublin, a little bit clumsy on the attack, but that's a good turn by Shane. We've seen those quick rotations hurt East Anglia. This time around, they've managed to keep the back there netly, and a good flick will get Ant-Man all the way down the pitch. Will be denied by Parable, and this is just back and forth Rocket League, but neither team is really finding the chance to shoot. These passing lanes, these shooting lanes aren't opening up on either side, and that one's just going to bounce far too high over the goal for anything to be done for the time being. Parable's first one up this, can he beat Ant-Man? Not quite, and Ant-Man has just been unbelievably quick in these games.
Yeah, definitely. He's been there for every single 50 for the East Anglian side. And now they are in the offense. Sortia tries to keep it up in the half of TU Dublin. TU Dublin now with one of the last offenses of this game, or it will go to OT. Sortia needs to get it out. Has much boost. Should be able to drop it. But still keeps up. But Parable tries to get the ball into the middle. Now you see Cannon getting the ball to his teammate.
That's close.
Yeah.
This is still an offensive chance for TU Dublin. They're keeping this ball alive for so long, and the UEA defense has to be running out of boost by now. Shane will still keep this one alive, and UEA are helping keep it up now as well. What is this? It's dropped down to Ant-Man. Ant-Man has a chance to go length of pitch. It's over one. Ant-Man will finally let it drop, and we are going to go to an overtime that both teams seem determined that we wouldn't reach.
Yes, to be honest, yeah, UEA just kept the ball up, rushing to the goal as well, trying to get a demo in, but in the end, it didn't work out. We are seeing an OT, and, UEA, they're just, one goal away from losing the series. If they concede here, of course, we see the winners in TU Dublin, and we see a demo coming out of Shane. There's not enough for them yet for TU Dublin to win the series.
Oh, this is Parable off the back wall, just about gets touched that, and it's as far as Shane as well, but Shane won't get the touch, and so Parable will flick this one all the way high. It's going to come off the back wall. No, Ant-Man's there, and of course Ant-Man's not going to let that get anywhere near the back wall. This is dangerous though, and the miss is just about there. Parable has the follow-up shot. It's off the back wall, just over the post. Shane is going to turn it in, does not the angle, but what a pass by Shane to Parable. Didn't get greedy, didn't go for the shot, sees Parable to the side, and that is a great finish and exactly what we like to see out of this TUD squad.
Yeah, that's a great finish there. That's a great, win as well from TU Dublin. A great passing play to close out the series. And in the end, the Irish, they are winning this series with 3-1 over UEA, which is a really, really good start, of course, for the Irish side. And they will definitely be happy with that. A lot of shots coming off from them in this game as well. A lot of pressure they had. And in the end, the pressure rewarded them with the win as well. So very, very well done. Very much congratulations to TU Dublin.
Yeah, and just a great series all around by them. I think they can be happy with their performance as well, except maybe with the exception of Game 2. And if we just wipe that one from the history books, this was a pretty convincing win from TU Dublin. Despite 2 overtimes, despite a Game 2 where they looked a bit shaky, they were really the team that had a lot of the pressure in the series, that had a lot of the shots that came through.
Yeah, definitely. They had the majority of the pressure in, pretty much all series, except for game number 2, which they lost with 4-0. Quite remarkable, to be honest. In all the other 3 games, they were just the upper side, the dominant side. And in that game number 2, they kind of lost it. But after that, fortunately for them, the Irish side could pick themselves up together, get the win as well, get 2 games in a row, and closed out this series. So they will be having the very first win here in Group C. Well, together with GEA Fairplay Martini, who also got their very first win here with 3-0 of the Stettin Griffins from, of course, Poland. So very, very well done to both sides in Fairplay Martini, and of course, like we have just seen, TU Dublin as well with the very first win of this season.
Yeah, an exciting day of Rocket League so far. Will continue, and of course, I'm happier than anyone because right now I'm 2-0 in predictions over Tylacto, who I'm sure will have something to say about that after the break. But hey, we're going to go to a quick break. We'll be back here afterwards for some more exciting Rocket League action, and as long as our series keep being this exciting, there is no reason to go anywhere. See you all shortly. Don't go anywhere.
But it's hard because I'm falling. I'm falling. Tell me why I'm falling. Oh, life's calling. But it's hard because I'm falling. Falling, 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 falling. started to fall, and where were you? How could I know you were falling too? Grabbing the wind, cutting my skin, but it's hard because I'm falling. Tell me why I'm falling. Oh, life's calling, but it's hard because I'm falling. Falling, 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 falling,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the EURC, where we have, of course, just witnessed quite the series there between the Irish TUD Apes, I was going to say Eeps, that would be an interesting animal, and of course they were up against UEA Blue Jays, much more normal animal Blue Jays, but anyway, I would say personally, it's a little bit of an upset, but massive showing from the TUD Apes there, of course, now with their full roster. I think we've never seen them with N Cannon, or at least in the Society Showdown, getting the win there 3-1 in a close Game 4 overtime, after UEA came back from 2 down in that Game 4. I mean, of course, myself and Wet Tiger here, we predicted that UEA would take that series, but Hyperia, how would you have thought coming into that? And do you just think we look silly now and you thought that Dublin were going to win all the way?
I'm in a really powerful position to just say, yeah, you guys look silly. I obviously predicted a 3-1. I had the scorelines in every game correct as well. No, I have seen Blue Jays play, and I must say I did expect a little bit more from them. It's a disappointing result, I think they'd see it as. So I think I'm joining you guys by, well, that's kind of being on the wrong end here.
Yeah, that is fair enough, as New Alec will be sat there in the green room smiling from ear to ear as the only one who predicted that result, as we're all sat here pretty sad, aren't we, Wet Tiger, after that, as our predictions not looking great. But I think it's fair to say when we move on to Group A and our upcoming matchup between Berlin and Kiel, I think it's fair to say you know who the favourite is here.
Yeah, you definitely know who the favorite is. It's the guys from Berlin. It's like the two huge guys. It's yeah, you definitely know them. You know their plays, and I can't think of any team that can beat them in this series if they get their A game together.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Tigri, Nagflo, and Kian, current reigning champions of EURC last year, coming in as the unanimous 1 seed of all of the committee here. That's why they're top of Group A. But of course, their first game of the competition right now against the Kiel Krakens. Very solid side coming out of the UK. In Group A in general, with the likes of UWE, who we've seen playing today, they were swept 3-0 by York, and they're currently playing on our B stream at nsc_.gg against the NUIG Griffins. And it looks like it's going quite well for them at the moment, but the likes of Tilburg in that, group as well. When you look at the group as a whole, though, Hyperia, do you think it's fair to say that Berlin will be able to walk it? But with 7 series to play, do you see them slipping up? And if they do slip up, could it be against Kiel?
I mean, so many opportunities and so many things that could go wrong for them in 7 series. You would say, yes, I expect that consistency from them, but then on the other end, in 7 series, a team just has to play absolutely amazing for one of those and should be able to beat them out. And Kiel being around that top 4 mark in the UK right now are definitely able to give them a fight. Whether they'll actually be able to compete and take 3 games off of them, I think I'd be a lunatic to say so.
Yeah, it does feel like a little bit of a push, but when you look at that Group A as a whole group, it's like if Kiel can't do it, then who can? I mean, we can certainly turn to Tilburg, a very great Dutch side who recently found a new third, so we've got potentially high ceilings in terms of expectations for them. And it's like Kiel have had an interesting time domestically. They actually qualified for the 1 seed after, winning out non-stop in the North Regional. Then they had a fantastic, flawless first week, but coming through this second week, Time Constant at the start of it last Tuesday just went completely MIA. The man could not be found. I think he turned up, the next day and was okay, but unfortunately they had to play that with a sub, so things could get a little bit shaky for them domestically as well, depending on, they'll be playing tomorrow in terms of who they might have to face up against. So they don't want to look back at this week and think this is where things all go wrong as well. They'll be certainly wanting to get off to a good start, but I don't know if they'll really be expecting to, get anything out of this series against Berlin. It'd be more the fact it's a group stage and every game matters in particular, because again, Kiel will be wanting to finish in that top 3 to be in the upper bracket of playoffs and at the very bare minimum top 5. And Wet Tiger, when we talk about game 5, there's a team I wanted to talk to you about, and in particular that is FHDW, because they're a team that got through qualifiers, and I think none of us really know quite what to expect of them. They recently got promoted into the Uniliga, right? And when you think about how they compare to the likes of UWE and York, and then the facts that York have just swept UWE, how do you feel like FHDW sort of fit into that in terms of trying to make the top 5 or even top 3?
I've seen them in the promotion game, and they looked way above the competition, so they should be a good Division 1 team from Germany, and I definitely think they can make the playoffs. I think they will make the top 5. I'm quite sure about it, as I've seen them play, and they're really fast. They have a good play style. They have good communications. I can't see them falling out of the top 5, and they might even sneak into the top 3.
I mean, that is fair. A bold prediction, as I feel like it's all about between them, UWE and York, as to who will be making that top 5. I initially thought it would be between them and York, but now that York have swept UWE, of course, I'm not entirely sure if UWE had Sebedam for that series due to the RLCS qualifiers, but I know they have him for their series right now against NUIG Griffins, and it's going very well for UWE, at least when I was looking in game 1. Of course, NUIG will be wanting to turn that one around just for the sake of Ireland and keeping up, the high standard that we've just seen set by the TUD8s as well. You think we might have such diversity in the playoff stage when usually it is the, say, UK teams, the Dutch teams, the German teams that we see right at the top. But I think it's fair to say that Ireland are really coming through charging, and I know PXL even got their first win as well against the Polish side in their group, who I'd have to double check who it was. I think it was the Raw Claw Bankers. They got their win over them, so that's a big result for your Vascular, the Finnish university as well. But then, you know, you see the sort of 6 teams. If we were to be really mean and rule out NUIG if they lost to UWE, it's like still a conversation of top 5 and top 3, right, Hyperia? But then Tilburg, who recently got their new 3rd, it's like we see Berlin at the very top, right? But the next 5 teams, do you not feel like they could sort of be in any order, right?
Yeah, no, it's all scrambled up, and that could be because of that one new addition who just fits in so incredibly well. Because that's the thing with the uni leagues, you can't really pick and choose. You can't be incredibly picky with who your teammates are, since you don't have that many high-level Rocket League players in your uni, probably. And if you do, well, Berlin Phoenix, they very much do. Well, it just all depends on kind of luck and with your teammates and how everybody fits together. So in that top 5, it's going to be a match between teamwork and people who are just incredibly individually skilled.
Yeah, and it's just like, I'm looking at the entire sort of performance of the nations across the whole. We got the likes of Italy, Belgium, and Ireland, you know, all trying to challenge the sort of miniature monopoly that the UK, Germany, and the Netherlands have here so far in previous EUR seasons. And like, not just talking about Group A, but in terms of all the groups as a whole, Wet Tiger, with regards to the German teams, not just FHDW, but the likes of Stuttgart and of course Dusseldorf. Do you feel like, and Berlin Basilisks as well, who I think we haven't talked enough today in particular, due to, we know the Basilisks were able to defeat, you know, Sapienza Roma in the EUR Winter Cup. Do you feel like all of the German sides could actually make it out their groups? Because I kind of think like they actually could, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think besides Berlin, they are all pretty much on the same level. It's a day-to-day basis where the Basilisks and the Düsseldorf Gaming Dragons are pretty much more team-oriented, while the other 2 teams are, or Stuttgart is probably more single-player oriented. But they definitely are all great teams, and if they get their A team together, I think they could easily get top 5, and I would be surprised if not all 5 German teams get out of group, or at least 4 of them should get out of groups.
Yeah, I do feel like you're right in saying that at least 4 of them will, as that's certainly just such strong teams coming out of the Uniliga as a whole. Even if they've only got, you know, the 5 in the competition, what a 5 they have. And well, speaking of the one we've got on stream next, of course, it is current champions Berlin Phoenix, and we can talk about predictions for this matchup, as I think I might have to be a brave man, and I think, you know, I'm 0-2 in my predictions so far. I'm successfully completely wrong, and, you know, I think it's fair to say that why not carry on with that? Because, well, Berlin Phoenix, if I look at the channel points predictions, I know we started a prediction in the channel, right? I'm actually going to double check to see how heavily it was in their favour. Okay, so 86% of the vote has gone to Berlin. That's quite favourable, and I look at that and I think that everyone is, you know, great people of culture. But in terms of predictions, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm either going to be able to cling on to the one prediction I got right in a massive upset, or I will successfully go 0-3 in predictions. Because I will bet that the Kiel Krakens will catch Berlin Phoenix off guard, and they're going to be sleeping rolling into the group stage. They might think it's going to be completely easy, and Kiel are just going to slap them in the face, right? Hyperia, please tell me why I'm probably wrong, or if you want, you can completely predict Kiel Krakens too. Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, no, that's definitely not what I'm going to do here. I mean, Berlin Phoenix, the thing I've got with their names, usually a Phoenix rises from the ashes, but they don't have to rise from the ashes. They are already soaring through the sky like a massive bird and making everybody scared. And a Kraken being a sea animal, I'm going to struggle to see how they can actually reach to the level of Phoenix here.
That is very true, and a good comparison. Quite symbolic, honestly, is now if they walk in and just get battered every single game, it will be absolutely perfect as well. Wet Tiger, how are you feeling about predictions here? These 2 teams, are you in the same boat as Hyperia? I'm worried that his boat is like more of like a naval ship, and I'm basically with like a raft right now on my own, am I?
Yeah, that's probably it. I've done my mistakes. I've bet against the Berlin Phoenix guys, and I will never do that again. I've seen them start slow and given up a game. That's the most I can see for the Kraken. So a 3-1 is probably the best result for me that they could get.
All right, well, that is fair enough, as we will have to see game by game, because, of course, in this group stage, every single game matters, as we will be heading in the players are in the lobby. Of course, casting this series will be Orion and Wet Tiger. We'll be heading over to you, Orion. How are you doing and how are you feeling about this series?
Yeah, well, you guys have heated it up beautifully, actually. That was unfortunate. Just as I started speaking there, I choked, basically. Hello, I'm back. Yes. Yeah, you guys have teed it up beautifully. This is a real juicer of a game, shall we say, between Kiel and Berlin. And you would say that Berlin are the heavy favourites coming into this game, but most people would say that Berlin are the heavy favourites coming into every game. And, you know, I would find it unlikely that they would have a complete, 100% record. They've got to lose at some point, right?
I don't know if they've lost yet, and I wouldn't bet against them. Like, they're the defending German champion for a reason. They're the defending Unileague champion for a reason, and I can't really see them lose any games. Or I could see them in a final and getting it to a close match when the pressure's on, but I don't see them losing in groups.
Okay. Do you think that Kiel will even be able to, make a dent and take a game, or are we just going to see out and out Berlin dominance here?
Yeah, like I said, Berlin tends to start slow in games, and definitely the Krakens, if they get a good early game, they could take the first game and might even get the second game. But after that, the Phoenix definitely will arise and they will win the series.
Yeah. Well, these are two titans of University Rocket League in their respective countries. As you say, Berlin are the dominant team in the Uniliga, and so far this season in NSE, Kiel have looked to be the strongest. I think they're currently tied for first place in NSE, and they're going to get on the board early here with a great passing play. That was K3 in the corner, going to drop that one down to time constant, and we have a goal very early on.
That's a great goal by them.
Into the center there, trying to look for one of his teammates, but nobody was really committing on it. It's now K3 into the corner for Poddy, but he's a bit awkward on that one. Constant into the corner, gonna have to try and follow up his own touch here, but not much boost, gonna get challenged in the corner. It's gonna be Nagflow now, leaving that one for Tigray. K3 gonna be able to put this one over the top. Tigray trying to follow up his own touch, looking for the double, couldn't quite find it. Quint there, not able to find an opportunity, but Berlin are meeting the ball very well in the midfield and are able to keep some pressure on Kiel for the time being.
Yeah, but that's like the early struggles that Berlin is used to in their early games, and it's a 1-0 lead that they have to climb out of. They're trying to make pressure, but they can't really get anything going yet. Knackflow is trying to clear the ball, and that's a dangerous first ball, which is not getting cleared perfectly. It's Quint, and now it's Tigre, was trying to set up the ball for himself, and he couldn't score this time, and it's Knackflow again. It's still a Berlin ball, and it's another shot, and it's a great shot. A double commit from the orange side here.
Oh, that was a beautiful shot, but on target there, and both Kiel players jumped for it, one of them making contact and crucially getting that save. It's K3 now trying to look for something, but flipped a bit too early and wasn't able to boost back up to that one. Quint is in an awkward spot and has made a good touch there. All Berlin players tucked up in that corner, and a pass into the midfield could unravel them on defense here. If K3 is able to wrap himself around this one, which he does, it's high onto that backboard. Nagflow up very quickly away to Tigray. And Constant not able to get clear as Nagflow is hounding him in the corner. Still some pressure. Tigray trying to put one on target, and it just seems like Tigray is having to be a bit of a one-man army at the moment. Like in that final third, Berlin are only really committing one player, and when it isn't going in, Kiel are then able to transition onto offense.
Yeah, it seems like Berlin's not in full throttle mode yet. They're keeping it safe. They're down one goal, but that's not undoable for them. So now we see Quint again. He's trying to tap it again into the middle. Gets the flip reset. Not dangerous enough. It's Tigre who's passing it back into the corner. Trying something on his own, but that's not really creative from Berlin yet.
Yep, still nothing on the board from Berlin, but they are trying their best, and they do look dangerous when they go forwards. That one is for certain. K3 has made an awkward touch there, and it might set up Nagflow. Doesn't have the double touch, but Tigri able to put that one down, and it is going to sneak in despite the touch on the defense there from Time Constant.
Yeah, Tigre is really fast up there and gets an easy beat. Not a perfect shot, but still good enough to tie the series.
1 goal apiece now. 2 minutes left on the clock. And, you know, game ones, we talk about them maybe not being so important, but the problem is, you know, it is a momentum builder. You come into this series a completely clean slate, so getting that game one can really, you know, help you get game two on the board as well. So we'll see which team can prevail and get a lead here, and see if they can hold it as well, as it is now Berlin Phoenix on the offense. And that one has snuck in somehow. I don't know if there was a bump there. I definitely saw one of the Berlin players up and heading towards the net. I think he might have just been falling down there from an aerial. Yeah, it was a pretty open net, and one that Kiel have just let slide in.
That's pretty unfortunate for Kiel. They pretty much need this game one to get the momentum going, to get themselves into the mood to get another game, and then probably trying to get the upset. But that 2-1 is really hard to get back from. But it's Poddy, he's trying to clear the ball. That's a centered ball, and Tigre's up early again, and that's a good shot right under the crossbar. 3-1 for the Berlin Phoenix.
Yeah, and this is worrying because you mentioned that Berlin, you said they were a slow starter. Well, despite conceding that first goal, they've definitely looked hot in game one. And if Kiel are losing game one to a, as you say, slow starting Berlin, then what are games 2 and 3 going to look like if we even get to a game 4? If Berlin have just started off in top gear now like this, then we might see Kiel going down in pretty emphatic fashion here.
Yeah, Berlin is looking better now. They're trying to get their passes going. They haven't done that really yet. It's more the basics that have got them here to this lead. And it's Tigre with a huge whiff, and that's an open net. But K31 can't get it in. Still, Kiel should have the ball, and they have to get something going.
Yeah, not able to just yet. K3 taking control, going to get demoed by Tigre, and that's going to burn some time off the clock. Time Constant going to try and center this one, but it's only as far as Nagflow. Time Constant might have a shot here if he can drop this one down. Oh, K3 demoed before he could reach it. I think even if he had got to that ball, I don't think he had the angle to put it on target. And oh my goodness, the ping pong in front of net is going to result in a 4th goal for Berlin Phoenix.
It was a great read by Tigre, who pre-flipped that one into the block. That was a beauty. Even if it doesn't look fancy, it was a beauty of a goal.
Yeah, Kiel definitely look in trouble here. Like the first passing play that I saw from Time Constant in K3, I was like, oh wow, Kiel are, you know, really on form, because when Kiel are finding each other, they can really put pressure on you know, the top teams in the UK, and there's no reason why they wouldn't be able to do that in the top teams in European University Rocket League as well. But then they just kind of switched off and let in 4 from Berlin. I often quote Poddy as being one of the top defensive players on the side of Kiel, and he didn't have any saves to his name in that game there. It was Time Constant and K3 putting up 2 and 3 respectively. So yeah, Kiel definitely in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, it was way too easy goals for the Berlin Phoenix guys, and then it's hard to claw their way back for Kiel. Like 2 goals within 1.5 minutes against a good Berlin Phoenix team, that's hard for any team.
Absolutely. We'll see how the dynamic of game 2 goes. I'm kind of predicting that Berlin, with that momentum now, might be able to get on the board first, unless Kiel can try and get an early one again. They might be gifted it here. Time Constant was flying in for that one off the pass from Poddy. It would have kind of been a, you know, deja vu from the previous game, but not going to happen this time. And it is Berlin on the board first. Nagflow with a shot in the midfield there, and he's not going to miss that one.
It's a great delayed touch by Tigre, and then an open net for Nagflow, who easily scores that one. That was way too easy for Berlin.
Kiel you know, Berlin are a team that can really carve out opportunities. So Kiel, they definitely need to make them work harder for it instead of just letting goals go past like that. That was a great save on the line. I thought a Berlin player would have easily turned that one in, but Kiel were wise to it. That is a big whiff from Quinn. Poddy going to get demoed. He was just going up to start an air dribble there and probably could have taken it all the way across the pitch, but losing his life. Nagflo looking for a ground pinch, but not really coming up with the goods. It's now K3 on the backboard. Quinn tried to make a touch, but it has gone behind him, and now Berlin scrambling on defense a bit, but it is just that combination of Nagflo and Tigre with the speed that they have and the chemistry. The drop down was so beautiful from Nagflo, and Tigre was like, yep, I know exactly where you're putting that ball.
That's just chemistry, you see that right there. That's a read I couldn't even get in my life, and Tigre is just there. He definitely knows the ball is coming. That's how they planned it. It was a beautiful pass by Gnagflo.
Absolutely, and Kiel are starting to look more and more stunned. That's a great way to try and get some momentum going with a beautiful drop down from Time Constant there. Not the clear that Quint would have wanted. K3 was able to block that with the rear of his car, and Time Constant there very quickly to just drop that one down. So, you know, I'm not going to call it a consolation goal. Kiel are still very much in this, but, you know, they need to do a lot more than that if they want to really challenge this Berlin team.
Yeah, but that's definitely not what they wanted. That's an open net for Tigre, and Tigre is not going to miss those. Way too easy again. A beautiful pass from Gnagflo. Then the ball is kind of bouncing awkward up, and Tigre just reads it perfectly and scores an open net again.
Yeah, that lead was cut in half, and now we have a restored 2-goal cushion for Berlin Phoenix once more, and Kiel are going to have to do it all again here. It's Time Constant trying to flip into the midfield. Easy save for Quint. The shot from K3 didn't really have much power behind it. It's now Nagflo in control, not a lot of boost, and it's going to be spilt, but 2 Kiel players going for it. It's left a gaping hole at the back. K3 has to make a very awkward touch, but does so quite well. Nagflo almost caught out there, and Tigre has to bail him out. It's now Quint in that Kiel half. Poddy making a touch into the corner, but it's really not going to be that favourable, and Kiel are just kind of putting themselves on the back foot, and it is Berlin Phoenix that are continuing to take shots off of these mistakes and poor clears from the Kiel defense.
And they can't really get out of their own half, and it's Tigre with another open net. He's really early up for that one, and then has an open net for him. That's the 4-1 at 3 goals against Kiel, and that's really hard to get back off. They still have 3 minutes, so they still could do it.
Yeah, they still have 3 minutes, but then on the flip side of that, Berlin have another 3 minutes where they could score another 4. Like, we're already at the scoreline that we saw in the previous game. And as you say, yeah, we have 3 minutes left. Poddy, that's a beautiful shot, but combination of Tigre and Nagflo on defense there are able to deal with that one. It looks like Kiel are just trying to have a bit of a higher offensive line now, and it is working for them. I think this is the first time we saw Berlin pushed into their half for a while, but, you know, they transition onto offense and immediately they look like scoring. I think they've left themselves an open net here unless Quinn can get back, but K3 has managed to find that hole after the counter-attack from Berlin and has got another one back for Kiel.
Yeah, but it looks like Berlin is really getting comfortable here. They're trying to make some flashy plays. Tigre with a huge risk right there, going up really early from the whole other side of the map, and just left an open net behind him after he didn't really get a good touch. But Berlin is trying to score some really nice goals right now.
Yeah, well, I've definitely seen it a couple of times, like, you know, there's confidence, but then there's overconfidence, and I don't think Berlin are showing too much of that. You know, there's only been 1 goal where they've maybe gone for something a bit flashy, and fair enough, they had a 3-goal cushion, so why not? But I have definitely seen a couple of teams, you know, suffer from overconfidence, and it can cost them. But we'll see if that scenario pans out here. It's K3, is he going to dribble this one into his own net? No, he's passed that over to Poddy, who is taking control, but immediately it's snatched off him by Nagflo. K3 trying to get one into the center. Now Poddy has pre-jumped this, but Tigre up even earlier. Like, the speed that these players operate at and move around the pitch is just something to behold.
Yeah, and it's Nakflo up again. They are so early in beating these players from Kiel here, and now it's Quint. Not the best touch, it's still a good ball for Kiel.
Yeah, Berlin haven't really, you know, looked to be in an awkward spot. It's always been like, wow, they've always been like so calm and collected, and that passing play there was very well orchestrated. Nagflo was there so quickly, knew exactly where the ball was going to go, and despite Time Constant literally being 3 feet in front of the ball, was not able to make the save off that one.
That was a really fast play by Gnakflo and Tigre again. The pre-flip pass into Gnakflo, who is there faster as you could save that. And the flip reset attempt by K3. Couldn't get it in this time, but still a good attempt.
He's got another attempt here, but he's going to put that one wide, and it's not going to challenge the defense. Flick from Tigre is not ideal. Body down into the center. Time Constant has almost found that bottom corner. K3 will now find the net, but 36 seconds left. Kiel still needing 2 just to send us to overtime here, and it does seem like it is a bit of a mountain to climb at the moment.
Yeah, but what you've talked about, they are trying to pressure Berlin way earlier, and that's pretty much what they need to do. They have to get the pressure on the Berlin side and don't give them too much space, but because if you give those players space, they will score on you.
Yeah, Kiel are definitely doing a lot of things right. Like, you know, I'm experienced in seeing how they play, and they are playing very well right now, but, you know, Berlin Phoenix just seem to kind of be that league above, and it is hard to be able to play up to this standard right now as Quint puts in the 6th for Berlin, and I think this game, and possibly even this series, has already been put to bed.
Yeah, it's really hard against those Berlin players, and Keely has to put on some pressure, so this game is not it, but that's the 7th goal. Tigre is going for one more.
Yeah, and he has found it there. Just a bit of confusion off the kickoff. Miscommunications maybe on the Kiel defense. I imagine comms now are something like GG's go next. You know, they definitely can take some positives away from this game. You know, it's, you know, they've had 7 scored against them, but they did do things very well, and they did start to adapt to Berlin and kind of pen them in their half a little bit. So Kiel doing things right, but I can't see a way back for them in this series, honestly.
I think it will be really hard. They have to put on some pressure. They have to get their A game out for the last game. It's their last life, and I don't see anything they could do besides playing their all out and hoping for the best. Like, you have to put on pressure. You have to get some lucky 50s to get anything going against this Berlin team.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the danger with that is if you really try and pen them in their own half, the second you get counter-attacks, you know, all of that pressure, you've already expended all of your boost just to try and get that go-ahead goal, and you end up scrambling back into your own half. And sometimes with a team like Berlin, who can just produce something from nothing at incredible speed, they could get caught out by it. And I don't know, I think they're just going to end up clutching at straws as we go into Game 3 now. So Kiel needing to win this one and needing to reverse sweep if they want the series. Berlin, they only need one more, and they have absolutely stormed their way to the first 2 games. Victory in the first 2 games, I should say. So I think we are going to see a bit more of a bloodbath in this game.
Yeah, I'll just... It's a good kickoff from Keely here, and they have to get some pressure on early to get their momentum going, to get this reverse sweep, but that's definitely not how they wanted to start. It's a good pass by Quint, and Gnakflo is up way earlier than anyone from Keely, and it's an early deficit for the guys to get out of.
Yeah, there was no real midfield pressure there from Kiel. They just kind of let Berlin have the ball off kickoff. And Nagflo, while the power wasn't really there on the shot, he did really well to put it behind Poddy, who, yeah, just wasn't even able to get near it in the end. It's K3 now with a bit better pressure, but Tigre has managed to just turn on a dime there and save that one. It's Quint now putting a shot onto net. Poddy not going to get caught out this time. taking it confidently in the corner, but a great challenge from Tigri. Is bouncing in the midfield. Time Constant can't make the touch, and Quint has gotten a goal, a second goal here for Berlin.
That's just like, if you miss the ball, Berlin will punish you, and if you miss the ball right in front of the goal, there is no way Berlin's not going to punish you. So you can't really do these relatively easy mistakes against Berlin.
It kind of feels like, you know, Kiel at this point are already dead, and Berlin are just continuing to just fire bullets into their chest despite being lifeless on the floor. I wouldn't go far as to say it's an embarrassment, because Kiel are playing exceptionally well. They're not making that many mistakes. It is just that Berlin are doing everything right. Like, this demo here on Poddy just completely threw off the defense. K3 had to scramble back, and but it's just kind of they're being outclassed.
It's just a different speed that Knackflo and Tigra are on. Sometimes those guys are not bad. They're definitely not a bad team, but Knackflo and Tigra are so fast to the ball, and it looks like they can beat them on pretty much every single challenge they go for.
Yeah, absolutely. Kiel are looking, you know, less lively in this game than they did previously. Like, in the previous game, they were able to put up some decent chances, and they got 3 goals for it. They're almost going to concede a 4th there. They might still, as Tigri is going to just slot that one over the top. The lob shot, keeper not able to jump high enough for it. Yeah, Berlin are really running away with this now.
Yeah, 4 goals within the first 1.5 minutes. I'm not sure if they can keep that up, but we will see.
It's almost uncomfortable to watch, you know. Like, I see Kiel week in, week out, and they are like one of the best teams in the UK, but it literally feels like I'm witnessing a murder here. Berlin are just absolutely relentless, and try as they might, Kiel aren't able to come up with the goods at all. It's going to be Poddy now with a shot on target. Finally, Kiel get on the board here, and I really hope that can give them a confidence boost, you know, in series like this, which, you know, I myself have been in, where you just feel completely hopeless. Just a goal like that can be kind of some semblance of, like, you know, yeah, we can compete with these guys. Like, yeah, they're probably better and they are going to win out, but, you know, we can at least do something against them.
Yeah, it was well played by them. They were up really fast. Quint wasn't ready to save that. So it was a good passing play by them. But they have to do more of those plays and less of those easy goals for Berlin, which is another one for them. I think there was a bump in net, but it's a ball that is centered, and Poddy can't get rid of it. And then 2 players being able to save that shot by Tigre.
Yeah, K3 was a bit wrong-footed there. He thought it was going across net and ended up going back post placement from Tigre. Like, you know, not necessarily the power, but knew exactly where the defender was going to try and go for that one, and put it the opposite direction. Tigre might have another one here. It's Nagflo now, and it is the 6th for Berlin, and we're not even at halfway yet.
Berlin really is keeping up the pace. They've scored 6 goals within 2.5 minutes. This could be a 10-goal series or a 10-goal game.
I feel like we're definitely gonna hit the Brazil within the next 30 seconds to a minute, and it is then just a case of how many can Berlin score. You know, it's kind of just getting farcical at this point, just goal after goal, and I think Kiel could get one more. You know, Berlin are just happy at this point. It's almost like a 3-man free play for them. They've pretty much, you know, they've definitely won this game, definitely won the series. So Kiel might be able to just sneak a goal back if Berlin are caught unawares, but we'll see how that pans out, as Poddy now off his own backboard. Tigre gonna take the shot. It's up high. Nagflo couldn't drop that one down. Poddy is doing his best to try and maintain possession, and Time Constant is there to help his teammate out. That's a long ball, and K3 can't reach it. He might even end up own goaling this one. I thought he was going to double touch it off the backboard there. Time Constant looking for a drop down into the midfield. K3 doesn't have the boost, so has to wait for that one. Poddy is now backed off and is in possession of Nagflo. Over to Tigre, who's literally off the ceiling for this one. Berlin really starting to style now and go for those clips. And Kiel just... they don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do, and I don't blame them, as we are going to get a Brazil here, as Tigre going to put in the 7th for Berlin.
Yeah, Berlin is just getting a statement right here. You saw Tigre as well. He was just pre-jumping that one from the ceiling way before Knackflo even played the pass, and I'm quite sure he would have scored that if if Poddy didn't came for the rescue. So no clip for Berlin yet, but they still have 1 minute to go, and I think they will just try to go for the flashy plays now.
Yeah, well, if you're Kiel, like, what do you do here? Do you just continue to try and get something and feel good about this series, or, you know, is this just going to turn into a freestyle 3v3 if, I don't know, K3 tries to go for a flip? In no way. Oh my goodness, I thought Tigre was about to score the best goal of his career then, as Nagflo, like, sniped him off the ceiling. But yeah, it seems that, you know, Berlin are very content just to mess around now and just try and find each other. But it just shows, you know, if you can do that against a team like Kiel, how confident these players are and how talented these players are as well. You know, we talk about the talent in universities, and obviously we're in Europe with this competition, so it is really testament to the talent that we see.
I don't know, Berlin is really hard to beat, and definitely they are the team to beat in this cup, and they showed this with this statement against Keeley. Like 3-0, there is not really a chance in any game for Keeley. They didn't play too bad. At the end, Berlin was just a better team, and that shows up in the score. And it might finish with a Brazil, but they're trying their best not to.
Wonder if they'll be able to score and avoid the Brazil here, or if Quint is going to put that one in. And okay, we do avoid a complete Brazil scoreline, as everyone on the match is demoed by that goalie explosion, and quite what am I trying to say? Quite similarly, Kiel have been absolutely murdered, extinguished, just, you know, taken down by Berlin. I don't think I've ever seen Kiel be beaten that badly.
Yeah, as you said, Berlin was pretty much outclassing them, and in the end you saw they were just going for some ridiculous plays which almost worked. It's a clear game. 8 goals against any team is a statement, and that's definitely Berlin saying they want to repeat as the European champion.
Yeah, well, you did say that Berlin were slow starters. I didn't realise that meant that they would only score 4 in the first game and then work their way up to 8 in the last game. Like, that's, you know, slow starters maybe, but that's quite a standard that they have there. So, yeah, after that series, I think we are going to briefly cut to a break now, and we will be coming back with our 4th series of the night. That will be the Loughborough Lions from the UK against Sapienza Roma, who I can only assume are from Italy. It's Sapienza University of Rome. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in that one in just a second.
welcome back to EURC, where we have just seen Berlin Phoenix sweep the Kiel Krakens. Of course, I am joined by Orion and Hyperia, but do you hear that, guys? We are also joined by Quint from the Berlin Phoenix here with us right now. Quint, let me just ask you, I mean, what an interesting series that must have been for you to play as, while Kiel are the second-seeded team in your group, and to me that is quite a bit of a statement. I don't know if you wanted to offer any consolation to them, if you've got any spare life insurance lying around after that was... I mean, by the end of that, I was feeling sorry for Kiel. Did you feel any, sorrow for them, or were you just enjoying the series?
Of course, I felt sorry for them. It's quite rough to go against two RLCS pros and against two LCS pros, because I don't even have to do anything. I knew they were second seed, and I knew they were strong. Especially K3 is a really good player. I've played him sometimes, and but I was pretty confident that we were gonna sweep them. And there's a good copy pasta in the Twitch chat that sums up K3's performance. So
that's true. I think that's fair enough. You don't even need to go in. He already had to endure enough during that series. But I think it's fair to say, Hyperia, right, that when you look, as you say it yourself, two RLCS players on the team, I feel like, do you not feel like, Hyperia, that it must be hard to not feel like overshadowed? I don't know if there's anything you want to ask Quint with regards to that, but like it just must sort of feel bad because you probably don't get any credit for just the sheer amount of winning that you did.
That was something that I had in mind as well. Like, how does that go with practice and stuff like that? How often do you guys practice? Because when people are less experienced, they're like, okay, we're gonna play together and we're gonna have good teamwork. Or are you guys more like, well, we've got two RLCS pros, we don't really need that much practice?
Well, I have never played a game with Gnagflow and Tigray other than the Uni League things. We have never really practiced, but it's not needed at all because they just do their stuff, and I just have to play normal Rocket League.
I mean, that is fair enough. I mean, it's quite the flex to say that you don't even need to practice. I don't know about you, Orion, but that just sounds like quite the luxury. But like, with regards to like any other teams in the competition, do you feel like there's anyone who we can even throw at Quint to see if they're even scared or worried for even a second about the competition that they're gonna have to go up against?
I mean, Kiel are about the best that we've got. They're about as good as good as Bournemouth, maybe Liverpool, but they've had a bit of a dip recently. Kiel was kind of one of our. We would send them into battle first, and it appears that they have come back bloodied and bruised and waving a white flag. It was almost uncomfortable to cast that series, just seeing like our little baby from the UK just being mauled by this like big German lion. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed that.
Strange image in my head now. Strange. I mean, to be fair, maybe if they actually perform up to the likes, maybe say Portsmouth with, Canoy, Psycho, and Mercy, like, you think that maybe if they played up to par, but then even in the series against Kiel, Quint, do you feel like if they fully parked the bus in game one and held out that first game, would any amount of worry sort of potentially crept in, or were you just sort of starting up the engines at that point?
I mean, again, it was the first time I played with Gnag and Tigray for around 2 months, so I knew that it was gonna start a bit like rough because I'm just not as good as them, so our rotations are a bit off. But then I adapt to their playstyle, and it's easy after that. And if Kiel's the best you've got, then I guess we'll take the victory then.
Well,
because
certainly, for the second seed in your group as well. The rest of the competition in your group that you may have to worry about, there is the likes of Tilburg from the Netherlands and still more UK teams in UWE and York. Also FHDW, who recently got promoted to Uni League. I don't know if you've had the chance to play them yet, but it does seem like you've made a little bit of a statement here coming out on the first day of the competition. I didn't know if there's anything else you'd like to say, anything you want to let the other teams know that just not mess around with you, if anything you'd like to say now, as I know our next matchup will be soon coming up. So really, the floor is yours. And if you want to BM anyone, particularly K3, of course, he's definitely already had enough. But, you know, it's completely up to you. Any shout-outs, this is your moment.
Well, talking to other teams that may face us, I'd probably have to say they don't have to be scared, because it's gonna be a painless death. Yeah, a quick death. We're not gonna
Be efficient.
mess around. It's gonna be efficient and quick. And yeah, K3. I mean, he did what he could, but it's kind of sad being. I know the feeling of being the worst player on the team, so I know how he feels. But no worries. They will. He can improve. It's no problem. And shout out to my boy Forkies. He's the best guy I know. I know him personally, of course. And yeah, that's it.
Oh, well, that's great. That was Quint from Berlin Phoenix, guys, and a quick death. And I think we can agree, Hyperion and Orion, that that's certainly what they gave Keelers. I think the less we talk about that match and certainly how it ended, probably the better. As you know, coming up next, we do have the Loughborough Lions going up against Sapienza Roma. And what's interesting about these two teams is that they've already played today. Now, Loughborough are without Matt M. They have super sub Tom in his place. Still a very capable player, but they did lose just in the past hour or so in Game 5 to the Beckett Bears. Now, the Beckett Bears have now also lost, I think, 3-1 to Rotterdam. So that Group B getting very, very spicy. But likewise, Sapienza Roma, they've lost 3-1 to Essex off stream. So coming to this series, you know, the loser of this one will be 0-2, and that's really not where you want to be at the start of the group. I mean, Hypheria, in terms of Sapienza Roma, I kind of expected them to do better against Essex, but credit to Essex for playing well. Now that Loughborough have a sub, do you feel like this is when they really need to step it up and get their first win?
Yeah, no, this is definitely, if you're playing against a team with a sub, that is your time to strike. That is really the time to go all out and kind of force the issue, since playing with a sub can cause some issues in rotation, so you really need to make sure you cause those issues as well and really bring the game towards your opposition.
Yeah, that is fair enough. Of course, we've seen Tom play in EUR Winter Cups before, and actually they ended up reverse sweeping Kit in the final of that, so we know again that Tom is so capable. But they have lost Game 5 to Leeds Beckett, right, Ryan, who they also recently struggled with last week in NSE, and with the likes of, you know, Rotterdam still to play and Dusseldorf in their pool, are you a little bit worried for Loughborough if they lose this series to Sapienza Roma?
I am a little bit worried, but I would kind of say that they should be able to pull through here, to be honest with you. Like, yes, Tom is a sub, but, you know, he's not that much of a downgrade from Matt M. And one thing I also want to pick up on is Loughborough haven't looked in their, you know, double UK Championship winning form as of late. So potentially Tom could even, you know, be a bit of a breath of fresh air for Crimson and Stamina. You know, no disrespect to Matt M, of course, he is a very well-established player. I'm pretty sure the most successful player in NSE, so, you know, no discredit to him. But if the results haven't been so good recently, then, you know, putting Tom in the team could help them find a bit of footing here. We'll have to see. As for Sapienza Roma losing to Essex, I'm a little bit surprised by that, but also quite happy that Essex are getting some good results on the board after they had a bit of a fall from grace in week 1 of our championship over in the UK. So good to see Essex finding some good form. But, you know, as you've kind of teed it up, it does seem like both of these teams are quite on, you know, like level pegging, really. And as you say, going for the potential of going 0-2, I'm sure this will be quite a hard-fought series. At least that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, just as you say, I mean, I'm happy to see Essex putting it back together, as well as I do know we have the players ready to go in the lobby. So I think we should just cut the small talk and go straight to the predictions. Now, I've predicted the UK side 3 times out of 3 today, and 3 times I have been wrong. So I am going to predict the UK side, Loughborough Lions, to win, and hopefully they might actually get a prediction right for me. And yeah, that will be my prediction. Hypheria, where do your thoughts sit on this one?
I know in general, Italians can be pretty reckless while driving, so they might just completely tear through Loughborough and kind of bump into the back of them continuously and then put up the hand signals, kind of making it their fault. So, you know what? I'm going with the reckless drivers, insanely skilled drivers at the same time as well.
That's true. I mean, the Italians getting the back in there, but Orion, you'll be the deciding vote for the panel here. We've had one for Loughborough, one for Roma. Who do you think is going to be taking this final series of the day?
Well, you know, we're an all-UK panel, but I've seen Loughborough go to Game 5 many times, and I think I've seen them lose more than they've won. I think this series will probably go to a Game 5, but yeah, I think the Italians will prevail, and I think the series will go 3-2 in favour of Rome.
Controversial predictions, as I may actually be finally right with the UK team, I do pray, but of course we'll have to see as the series unraveled. And casting it, funny enough, will be Hytheria and Orion. I don't know who those guys are, but let's go and say hi to them right now.
Oh my, hello, Tilacto, thank you for throwing it to us. We thoroughly were waiting for this matchup to be underway. It's we've been sitting here waiting the entire time while you guys were talking in that analyst desk. Just sometimes go a little bit quicker. We're waiting to get this underway. Please, we want to see the game, or we can see the game right now. Loughborough versus Sapienza Roma. Let's see what can happen. 5 minutes on the clock as usual. Bongo already taking it towards the other end of the pitch. It's a good start, pressure-wise, from Sapienza.
It seems like Loughborough on a counter-attack now. Stamina going to leave that one, and Crimson able to turn it into the corner. Trying to find a pass into the midfield now, but Lindo, big clear away. Can Bongo reach this one and put a shot on target? No, he cannot. Trying to go for a demo on Stamina there. Could open something up for Sapienza Roma, and a miss from Stamina in the midfield. Big clear coming out from Crimson. That one has gone all the way in, and Crimson there putting Loughborough on the board first.
Oh my, somewhat lucky 50 going in, or just a great block, whichever one you want to call it. It doesn't really matter because it went into the back of the net, and that is all that matters. 1 goal lead for Loughborough until Axo. He's pumping his fist up in the air because he's happy that he might just be right on a prediction for once. And still there's 4 minutes left to play for. Crimson off the sidewall she goes once again, can't connect with the ball, and then it will be Notri clearing it out into Lindo, who booms the ball in towards the opposing side.
Crimson now gets bumped away from that one, and an opportunity presented itself, but Bongo wasn't quite ready for it. Tom not going to go for this one. Crimson could have taken the shot there. Instead just bounces it off the top of her car, and I'm not really sure what that was, and it's going to be a 50-50 up the other end this time. Bongo giving Loughborough a taste of their own medicine.
Yep, 50 up all the way. Sometimes that's just the way to get through. Sometimes getting a 50 like just unfolded is just the way to play in a 3v3, because to be honest, on the opposing side is not really that high of a risk unless, well, it flies into the back of the net, but as long as it's in the opposing end, you don't really mind getting that 50. You just dive in because you have 2 players right behind you. If that 50 does end up failing, that shouldn't go into the back of the net. Crimson off the side will once again a miss. There's little inconsistencies that need to be ironed out. This shot on target, Bongo with a save. Crimson once again missing it. I'm noticing a lot of misses. The info pass could actually be connecting. Tom getting in the way of it though.
Yeah, I agree with you. There are a few just whiffs uncharacteristically from Loughborough at the moment, and it is allowing some pressure from Sapienza Roma to come through. So if they can just iron out those mistakes and connect with the ball a bit more often, then I'm sure that they'll find some success. Stamina is going to connect with that one and ensure that Loughborough are back in the lead here.
Oh my, the goals that have been scored in this game have not been great whatsoever, Ryan. Like, I'll be honest, I'll just be completely clean about that. The goals have not been pretty, but they are all goals nonetheless. They don't count for less of a goal all of a sudden as Bongo. This could be your first decent goal. Stamina with a save. There's follow-ups. Tom clearing it out. Notri to the backboard once again. Crimson needs to get a hit this time. Does indeed do so, but no follow-up could still put them in a bad position. Bongo off to the backboard, intercepted by Tom, and Crimson after missing. Oh, he's gonna demo, or she's gonna demo Lindo from behind.
Lindo is now on the ball. Don't think he has much boost. Able to get a pre-flip off. Crimson was thinking about flying for that one, but instead Bongo is going to come over the top now. Stamina chasing, no one up for it. Able to get a 50-50 in the midfield and keep the ball in Sapiens Aroma's half. Dangerous ball into the midfield. Stamina with the shot, no power on it. Tom dropping that one down. Crimson with the double touch attempt, but Lindo reading it beautifully and is able to get it clear away. And another 50-50. We could see another goal. Like, so the three that we've seen so far, as you say, haven't been too pretty, but you know the saying, if it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid.
Yeah, not whatsoever. So kind of more reminiscent of a ones game if 50-50s just get scored the entire time. Lindo in a 1v1 situation against Crimson. Crimson looks to fake it out. Does get the touch off the backboard. Out to the side she goes. Bongo, he's putting that right back into center. Not really denied by the crossbar. And then Lingle saved by the final defender. And that 50 going in the favor of Loughborough this time. Tom can't get through just yet. A bit of end to end. That's going to favor Loughborough for now because they are leading with a goal.
Yeah, time bleeding off the clock as we have a back and forth ping pong, and Crimson, oh, not gonna find the net there with that one. It was wide open. It was a bit of a tough angle to try and get round it and kind of squeeze it in past the defense, but not gonna find it in that case. Hopefully they won't regret that one if Sapienza Roma score now. It is Lindo who's used his flip beautifully, trying to drop that one down into the midfield in front of net for his teammates. Crimson now just waiting for this one, and challenge from Bongo in the end manages to send it high onto the backboard. Should be a clear coming through now for Sapienza Roma, but it's Stamina putting it into the midfield once more. Loughborough, they're at a bit of danger of overcommitting here, I feel. You know, they're still chasing a goal, but sometimes it does feel like they are just kind of still sending everything in the kitchen sink, and I worry that it could come to cost them if there is a counter-attack.
Oh, Stamina, hello, soaring through the sky, and that is exactly what they needed. The first, I want to say, proper goal being scored in this series. Stamina beating out with one defender, and then there was no saving that one on the side of Sapienza Rome. Loughborough, they might have solidified their win in this game.
Those bouncy boys are a bit hard to read. Lindo just, jumped past that one, unfortunate there. But it seems like Loughborough now have probably managed to put this game to bed, unless there is a bit of a miracle from Sapienza Roma here. And this is good to see because Loughborough are often cited as being quite slow starters. Like I've definitely seen them go down a game or even two and then kind of given themselves a bit of a mountain to climb. But winning this game one, wait a minute, I'm not saying anything else. It's still anyone's game.
Polish champ real quick in the chat. There's 6 seconds remaining. This could just be a comeback from Sapienza Roma, and what a comeback that would be in game one, completely denying that slow start from Loughborough. Or, well, a good start from Loughborough at least. This kickoff actually decent. Crimson will take it off to her own corner, making sure that it stays safe, but dropping it towards
like
the Tom. No, nobody's there to try and capitalize, and Loughborough do manage to get this game on the board.
Oh man, I thought Loughborough then were gonna throw that away. They did so well in that game, and getting that 2-goal cushion as well. If they'd thrown it away on 0 seconds, then that would have been just confidence destroyed for them, and I would have really worried for them going forwards if they had lost that overtime and gifted game one to Sapienza Roma. But they have held out and they have taken game one, which is huge because Loughborough, I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot of them this season, but in previous seasons, they've warmed up into series and just got better and better and better. Exactly in the same way as we saw Berlin Phoenix in that previous series, which we don't talk about. But it'll be very interesting to see if Loughborough can now keep building this momentum as we go forwards in the series.
I mean, if they're that slow starting team, then they might just be an absolute freight train at this point and not stoppable. But Sapienza, honestly, a kind of new team to me. They could just be the exact same. We are going to have a little bit more info, or at least a little bit more knowledge about the UK team. So Sapienza, they could just be that team who has a rough first game and then completely turn everything around. We don't know that just yet. Sapienza, they do have to prove themselves in this game though, because otherwise against Loughborough, you still can't drop that many games. And even with how Loughborough were playing, they weren't playing that well. And I'm more meaning the 3 or 4 misses coming out from Crimson, making it incredibly awkward, but going punished.
Absolutely, as you say, Sapienza is a bit of an unknown entity to us. You know, they're a wild card team coming into this EUR competition. The only previous result I have for them from the stats people is that they finished 9th in an EUR Winter Cup, which is a pretty respectable result. So they're definitely, you know, a kind of, I would say, like an A-tier team in EURC based off that result. And they are kind of showing it here, you know, like Loughborough had to definitely fight for that win in game 1, and it seems like they're going to have to fight for a win in the series. That one definitely not going to have to be fought for. It was pretty open, and Crimson just has to tuck it home from a yard out.
And the double commit coming in from Lindo, and I think it was no try coming in from behind. Oh, double commits are always going to be lethal if you do end up committing them. This kickoff could be lethal as well. Crimson taking it off to her own corner once again. Kind of similar how the last game ended, but this time there's 4 minutes left on the clock. Plenty of time for Sapienza to come back, but every time they lose a tiny little step, and well, no try is not going to get anything on that with a 0 boost. All he can do is really get a 50, or well, that's the best he can do at that point. Bungo in towards the center. That's something I'm noticing with Sapienza. They're not really following up on their touches properly.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. You know, like they're getting into Loughborough's half very well, but once they're there, they just can't really seem to find the end product. It's kind of, you know, it's very direct, and they're kind of sending one player at a time. Like, I haven't really seen too much chemistry between the players, whereas Loughborough, as we're seeing right now, are able to just pile on pressure and just send player after player to keep that ball in the half of Sapienza Roma, and it's just draining boost, and eventually, you know, they are going to crack.
Yeah, eventually, surely they are cracking out. Lindo and no try once again on that defensive side, sitting incredibly far back. That's just inviting pressure. Basically, open up your door to Loughborough and saying, hey, come on in. Yeah, no, you can pressure us. You can... It's basically giving the salesman the foot in the door, because you know from that point they won't leave, or they're going to try and stay as long as possible, those pesky salesmen. Oh, and the Loughborough Alliance, that's definitely going to favor them. Crimson does it completely solo into the center, denied by Bungo. That's Lindo looking to get this one out of that defensive position. Looks to shut that door, but immediately picked up by Loughborough in the defensive half once again.
Yeah, absolutely, but it does seem like Sapienza Roma with a bit of sustained pressure now. Bongo trying to do it all himself with an air dribble. Can he get the 50-50? 1 versus 3 on the 50-50. The odds are against him, but he still manages to come up with the goods and bring us equal here in game 2.
Oh my, where was the challenge from Loughborough, to be fair? Like, if all 3 of you are sitting on the backboard, just send 1 of you or even 2 of you at that ball. The kickoff's actually from Sapienza. That's something interesting to note as well. They are continuously getting the same kind of kickoff where they manage to slightly get it into the opposing half. So it would be an incredibly good kickoff to have kind of an aggressive sneak up. They're not really applying that just now, wanting to play a little bit more safer. But Sapienza, I said Italians are reckless drivers, and they kind of need to be like that as well. They just need to be a little bit more reckless.
Absolutely, that was a bit of a wild shot from Bongo there. No try is going to have a pretty open shot himself. Takes the shot and gets demoed immediately after, but they have left a gaping hole at the back, which is going to be filled by Bongo now. It's Lindo chasing this one upfield. Stamina with a bit of an awkward touch. Can't really get that ball clear, but is doing incredibly well with limited boost to just take it into safety. It's now Crimson speed flipping towards this ball, trying to drop it down for a teammate or do it all herself with the ceiling shot. Not able to find it, then that demo onto Tom might be able to launch a counter attack now for Sapienza Roma. It's Lindo taking this one up high, trying to get the musty flick and the double touch. Didn't quite get the flick off, but you can see, you know, there is definitely talent on this Sapienza Roma squad, and the mechanical players as well can just, you know, find something out of nowhere.
Yeah, everybody's been a little bit tame in this matchup. Stamina, can he actually get the angle off the crossbar? Is there anybody there for the follow-up? Crimson coming in clutch, and, well, absolutely amazing stuff to come in from behind and make sure this actually gets secured.
Man, you know, I hate those, like, balls that just drop in front of the net, but, like, you have such little boost and you have to just get over the top of it. they're so funny to watch, but like, you know, when you're in that position, you'd have done exactly the same thing. I know I would have, but it was Crimson. They're able to just get to that ball and tuck it home again from a yard out. And now it is Sapienza Roma, with only about 40 seconds left on the clock, finding themselves in a similar position to the previous game, chasing down Loughborough's lead. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it here. You know, they have looked pretty decent this game, but Loughborough, they've just looked better.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, once again, Sapienza's being incredibly tame, and then Loughborough, they're also being tame, but they're making it work a little bit better. And Sapienza, they don't really seem like the team that usually wants to sit back incredibly far as this attack. If this is converted, that's just going to mean game, but no try on Lindo. Might just connect. Lindo out to the side, hits it way too far forward, and little mistakes. Oh my, I just expect better from Sapienza, to be fair, and that could be nerves coming to them.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see as we go into game 3 now and series point for Loughborough. So we're find ourselves in a situation where it is sweep or be reverse swept. I can't remember the last time I saw Loughborough get reverse swept, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen this roster. Well, I say this roster, you know, they're playing with Tom, but in the previous season of UK University Rocket League, I don't think we saw a reverse sweep onto Loughborough. I think they had a few themselves, so my money would be on the fact that this is quite unlikely. I maybe wouldn't be surprised to see Sapienza Roma take the next game. I've definitely seen Loughborough go 2 games up and be on match point, and then throw away a game or 2 and then finally win the series. So we'll have to see what happens, but they do look in pretty good form right now, and they definitely look in series winning form.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, but back when I was at uni, every single time when, well, the parties were still a thing, and somebody'd say, oh, yeah, no, you're definitely not doing that. That is exactly what you were supposed to do. Or, I've never seen this happen. Well, then you're expected to actually do that. So, now you saying, I've never seen Loughborough get reverse swept Sapienza. It's up to you to show that that can definitely end up happening here with Crimson. She's looking to make that statement directly. Bungo. And this is what I mean, Bungo, he's all alone for a little bit into the center. No try, not alone anymore. He's helping out, and it's not the first goal for Sapienza.
I think it's the first time that they've had a lead. Yeah, they've definitely scored in the previous 2 games, but I believe this is the first time that they've led in a game, scoring that opening goal. Only 20 seconds gone on in this game, though, so Loughborough, you know, they have plenty of time to try and find an equaliser. I'm sure that won't be worrying them too much for the time being, unless this one goes in, but Crimson is there to make sure that it doesn't. Following it now is Crimson. No try is trying to take this one by himself. Got plenty of boost to work with. Oh, it's Stamina now. He's missed that touch. Lindo here might be able to come in for this one. Can't quite reach the ball, and it is Stamina now. Not with much boost to his name, though. He is able to get it over 1, but now Lindo is able to get the clear, and that second and third touch is really going to open things up for Sapienza Roma if Lindo can put the center. Stamina, great clear away, though, off the backboard, relieving the pressure, and we are back to that kind of that back and forth dynamic that we've seen so much this series.
Yeah, it's really been a defensive series here where both teams are kind of staggering the entire time, wanting to have the opponent make the first move. And sometimes you just have to make the first move. I recently started watching Cobra Kai, and the motto is strike first, because, well, you want to be the aggressor. You don't want to be a little P-boy and sit back. And Crimson, well, that's not a P-boy, but it's definitely, oh my word, almost a phenomenon. Oh, what is going on defense? Sapienza, I have no clue. They managed to get away with absolute murder there.
Sapienza.exe stopped working for about a second there as that flip reset from Crimson really threw a spanner in the works, but they managed to recover from it, and they maintain their lead here, and that demo on Crimson should allow them to counter-attack here. Or that miss, though, from No Try is going to kind of stunt things for a little bit. Still trying to get it center is Lindo, and that was almost a pinch there on the goal line. Noah from Loughborough wanting to go for it. No Try with no boost is going to give that one to Tom, and Sapienza backed off. Pass into Crimson in the midfield, and a boomer of a shot brings Loughborough level.
She is in the octane, but that's an absolute ripper. Tom with a phenomenal pass, sacrificing his life to get the ball towards the teammate. ready to rip it into the back of the net and equalizing. And this is what I mean. Loughborough really making sure that that opportunity that they get. Oh no, please.
Not
oh
like
my.
this.
Oh, not like this indeed.
Loughborough.
Hands in the head. This, yeah, Loughborough indeed.
Loughborough, oh my god. That is a Loughborough moment.
Oh my! I really wish we didn't make that, but well, Sapienza, they're in the lead once again. Sure, they'll take it. They'll take it very much. There have been some absolute doo-doo goals happening throughout the entirety of the series. And this time, it's on the side of Sapienza, back in the lead.
Loughborough engineered their equaliser so well and then just fell apart off of kickoff. Such a shame, but you know, we've seen how they're playing. They're looking for each other in the midfield. Stamina not able to beat Lindo to that one. Here's Bongo with plenty of boost to work with, but Stamina is a real menace. I've seen him play like this before, where he literally just, I wouldn't quite call it ball chasing, but just plays incredibly fast and is incredibly annoying to play against. He'll just like basically just go back and forth along the defensive line and just hit the ball because he can, and it just disrupts rotations so much, and we saw that there. Not able to result in a goal that time, but if Stam is doing that, then Loughborough could really start to run away with this if they can find an equaliser.
Yeah, this is something I want to see though from Stamina. Definitely something I want to see somebody say, nah, my team, they're playing defensive already. Oh my word, Tom barely missing out. Crimson a little bit too close. Stamina is still there. 10 boots left in the tank. Won't be able to go up for a double tap. But Loughborough hold that and talk for a little bit as they're continuing this pressure on offense. And I think it's alleviated a little bit. Well, I want to see somebody say, look, we're going and we're kind of being monkeys right here. Because I think the first teams are going to do that in a proper way where they take calculated risks. Then they're just going to come out with the Vixer and no tries, looking to get down the other end, denied by Tom instantly.
Well, I thought that was going to be a bump there on Stamina. That would have really opened things up. I did notice there Loughborough were overcommitting slightly, just trying to, you know, chase that goal, but that's an overcommit on the defense. Third man definitely thought he had that one, and Crimson able to put that one straight over the top.
Maybe Lindo thought that Bungo would be quicker on the rotation. So that's slight miscommunication that Sapienza have been having the entire time. It's really been plaguing them throughout this entire series. Thus they are 2-0 down. I think if they kind of had decent communication, it would at least be 1-1 right now. And if this goes down to a 3-0 for Loughborough, it's going to be a very heartbreaking series for Sapienza, because surely they are expecting more. When currently, well, they've got 35 seconds to try and prove that they can finish this in regulation.
Yeah, well, Loughborough now really, Sapienza really need to score, because I think if this goes to overtime, you know, Loughborough would then just be one goal away from winning the series. They're pretty much one goal away from winning the series right now. So Sapienza, I think, you know, a goal now would really kind of save them and give them a good foundation to build on in the next game, where they would, you know, Loughborough would still be on match point, but they would have to set up for a game 5. But I think we are going to go to overtime here. Loughborough 1 goal away from the series win, and you know, this is the mountain of all mountains to climb for Sapienza, but they've got to start somewhere by winning this overtime.
Well, I was talking about miscommunication, and they double committed on the kickoff. Literally the easiest moment to not double commit in the entirety of the game, pretty much. But they do have pressure going on. Lindo looking to get it towards the center, needing to go score that 1 goal off the crossbar, denied by Stamina. Then Tom being there in time as well to deny no try. Crimson still looking a little bit awkward in the corner. Pops in towards the center. Bungo off the backboard, dropping it into the center. No try, and Lindo sitting incredibly far back, just lounging. And they cannot be lounging because they need to win this game. They need to score a goal, but their pressure is just continuing the entire time. I am afraid of an overcommit though.
Yeah, Loughborough looked very, very awkward on defense there. I thought that a goal was inevitable, and they somehow managed to work it out. They just weren't able to get that ball clear, and really they still haven't managed to get it clear. It's just kind of been sat in Loughborough's half, and they've had no boost to get it clear, and they're just gifting it back to Sapienza every time. It's still in that corner now. Finally a bit of a clear away, but only as far as Lindo, who might look for a flip reset here. Oh, Oh, it was a low one and wasn't able to pop it over the defense. Tom now away to Stamina, looking for that cherry pick. It's Crimson in control, trying for the air dribble, no try. Gonna make sure that she can't do anything with that one. Stamina now off the corner, and Loughborough starting to generate a bit of pressure, but that clear coming out from Sapienza Roma is going to deny that, and it does seem like we are back to Loughborough on the defense, just holding on right now and trying to finish this game, this series in 3 and in the minimum number of games. But yeah, Sapienza, they're putting up a really good fight in this overtime. This is probably the best I've seen them play so far this series.
Yeah, for this would it be anything to go off against the entire series. You'd think Sapienza would be 2-0 up right now, but no, they're fighting for their lives. Bungo looking for the double tap, denied by Stamina. Would have been dropping in towards the center. Crimson with a decent pass into the center. Nobody there to come and collect it except Lindo, who's obviously going to try and clear at the other end. Crimson just puts it along the ground, making sure that it can't really happen anything fancy with it. Bungo off to the back where he goes once again. Sapienza looking to start this pressure once more and try and finish it, but for 2.5 minutes of overtime, it's been pretty uneventful here, really. Somebody needs to try and break through, and I don't want to see a bad goal to end this series off.
Yeah, well, Tom's got a hold of this one now. It's off the backboard. Can he follow it up? No one from Loughborough wanting to commit. It's Crimson now. That's an awkward read for Bongo to make. He hasn't made it. Crimson can't tuck it in on target. That was the opportunity there. 3 minutes have gone in this overtime, and that was the closest any team has come to scoring so far. Loughborough right now, they're having a good spell of pressure, but they've got to watch out for that overcommit again.
And they have to watch that good pass coming in center. Salmon off to the backboard. Crimson looking for the double tap. Double commit coming in. No, Shirley Tom off the crossbar and saved by Bungo. Oh my word, Sapienza, they hold on by the skin of their teeth. Now they're looking to actually get the counter attack. Crimson with a pre-jump. Lindo looking to do it all solo. Denied by the final defender. Stamina passing that straight into no try. But then having the follow-up touch. Crimson going down the other end. And this is just a lot more intense Rocket League right now. That one opportunity. They're on the edge of their seats now. And their game, and they're playing this game to the full of their ability. Lindo doesn't have a lot of boost, does manage to pick up the boost here. That could mean an extended spell of pressure, but no try getting cleared out completely without anything in it. It's probably going to end that pressure, and denied indeed by Tom.
Yeah, well, that shot off the crossbar has kind of electrified this whole overtime. It's almost as if, you know, the adrenaline kicked in for every player when they realized, you know, how close that was. Loughborough, they've had 2 golden opportunities now, and neither of them have been converted. I think it's only a matter of time before Sapienza get their golden opportunity in this overtime, and we'll see if they're able to convert that one. But it's still Loughborough trying to win this series in 3 games and get that sweep. That was a demo onto Lindo in the midfield there, so Loughborough should be able to counter-attack now. Crimson is over the top. Might be able to get another touch on this off to leave it for Stamina. It's off the backboard. Where is Tom putting it onto the woodwork? Again, just wide. Loughborough creating opportunities, but that final product is just not quite there until now. Maybe Crimson not able to connect with that one. Lindo, great block, and no one from Sapienza is going for this. And Stamina has dropped it in. Sapienza just fell asleep for half a second, and that was all Loughborough needed to punish them.
Oh my word, 5 minutes almost of overtime, and Loughborough managed to finish it in 3, and this is something that we've actually seen before as well. Game 3 all of a sudden being so incredibly competitive. Where was this Sapienza throughout the entirety of the series? So incredibly unfortunate to not see that in the regular game anymore, or like when it actually mattered, because they were showing signs of greatness, and then at times it was just absolutely terrible. Gotten lost, I'd say, from Sapienza.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. You know, Loughborough, they squandered 2 opportunities in that overtime, and I kind of started to feel like that Sapienza were going to get one of their own sooner or later, and that it could even be converted. So that goal for Loughborough is going to be they're going to be breathing a big sigh of relief for that one. So they have managed to sweep the Italian team here, which, you know, we've got to say that our predictions were a bit wrong on that, and I'm sure that Tylacto is currently jumping up and down in his seat despite only getting 1 out of 4 predictions right this evening. But I guess we don't talk about that because, you know, he's managed to finally get 1. But Yeah, what a match to conclude tonight. Loughborough, after a few kind of odd results in their respective UK league, have managed to pull out a great one here in the university, in the European scene, I should say.
Yeah, no, they're off to a decent start. I think now equalizing their scoring, being 1-0 overall. So it's good stuff coming in from them. An important win coming in here today, making sure that they at least have something going. And well, in the game, in the series themselves, it could be, hey, look, we are a little bit slow going. Now in the group stage, at least they've got something on the board. They just want to clinch that top 5 position, potentially even better.
Yeah, and Loughborough, crucially for them getting that win, they are now 1-1 in the group. Sapienza Roma going 0-2 on the night now, so Loughborough surviving a bit of a scare there. You know, they with their sub Tom. I believe if I remember correctly, they lost a game 5 in their previous series, but they've done well and swept here to keep their EURC hopes and dreams alive. But yeah, I think that is going to do it for this series. I think we're going to throw to a short break now, but when we return, I think we are going to have an interview with Crimson herself. So don't go anywhere, we'll be back shortly.
Is there even such a thing? Can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to EURC. We've had our 4 series today, and of course you've just seen a rather close but a sweep nonetheless by Loughborough Lions over Sapienza Roma, and we have an interview, don't we, Orion and Hytheria, with Crimson of the Loughborough Lions. You played without Matt M this week, if that's correct. As I believe you were saying, maybe he wanted a break, if I'm not mistaken, though you'll have to confirm. Are you happy with the performance this week, given the Game 5 loss to Beckett Bears? But it seems like you sort of put it right there with the sweep over Sapienza Roma. Would you say you're happy overall, or would you were kind of hoping for better?
It's an alright result. I mean, the game 5 against Beckett Bears, we sort of pooed it in general. We all just made so many mistakes rotationally, and our game, we just weren't playing how we normally do. And so I guess we took a break after that, had sort of a mental reset. And then after that, we came into this one with a new head where we were at, and then we just came into it feeling confident.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't know if there's anything you'd like to ask Crimson in particular based off that, Orion. I personally, I just think, well, I don't actually know how you managed to lose a series with the best sub in the world, Tom, on your team. Maybe you can ask about that, because personally, I just don't know how that was possible, really.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, like, what is the kind of like team dynamic like with Tom as a sub, like compared to Matt? Like, is your role different, or is it just like, is everything basically the same?
It's all still quite similar. I think Matt's probably a little bit better mechanically than Tom, but Tom plays a really good deep third. So you can rely on Tom to be a little bit further back, and so you can play a little bit more aggressively, and then you sort of feel safe that Tom is behind you, just like, you know, keeping the team pushed forward, and it helps us keep pressure, especially in those last games against Roma. I felt like we had a lot of boost control, and I felt like Tom was definitely a huge benefactor to that.
You definitely looked like you were kind of in control of them. Like, it wasn't a super high scoring series, but for the most part, it looked like you had their number more than they had yours.
Yeah, I mean, following that tense overtime, I was just like, I think it's, very nice to have seen that out 3-0, of course, consider consolidations to Sapiens and Roma, because they start the group 0-2, certainly not where they'd have been looking to be at after today when they're trying to make top 5, of course. With regards to that, as I'm sure Hyperia, it's fair to say that we know Loughborough are aiming for top of the group. Is there anything you'd like to ask Crimson in particular? Because let's not forget, they still have Dusseldorf and Erasmus still to play.
I mean, I think we can just be upfront about this. I was kind of roasting you in the initial game. Not really roasting, but it seemed as if you had a little bit of a rough start. And how did you, as a solo, kind of deal with that? Did you kind of did that by yourself, or did your team also say, "Hey, look, now you're a great player, we can do this"?
A little bit of both. I got some food, if I'm honest. I think food is always the correct answer to all of these situations, and it sort of just resets yourself. So you just grab yourself a bar of chocolate and you go back into it with a fresh mind.
Honestly, nothing sounds
great. What is your chocolate bar of choice, may I ask?
I'm actually partial to a Galaxy. It's probably my go-to.
Galaxy gang.
If anyone from Galaxy is listening to that, you are more than welcome to sponsor EURC. You're literally endorsed by the Loughborough Lions coming out of Group B as well. How many Galaxies do you think you're going to have to eat, Crimson, in order to make sure you top Group B? Because as I said, you do still have Erasmus and Dusseldorf to play against in that group. And I may point out that Erasmus did beat the Beckett Bears 3-1. Do you feel like you're going to be able to do that okay, or will you need more of like an industrial shipment of Galaxy to make sure that's okay?
I think an industrial shipment of Galaxy is never going to go amiss, but I think we feel confident against the last two in our group. I think we sort of had a bit of a mare against Beckett Bears, and we can bounce back.
That's fair enough. Is there anything you'd like to say, given that we are concluding the broadcast? Of course, there are games to be played on Wednesday, but you've got yours out the way, no problem. I'm not entirely sure who you'll be playing, in the coming week, but I do know that we did see Berlin completely dismantle Kiel on stream earlier. I don't know if you saw that series or if you were playing, but you feel that, of course, Berlin being the favourites and how they just completely dumpstered Kiel, really, whether or not you're with full roster or with super sub Tom or with unlimited amounts of Galaxy, how do you feel yourself going up against probably the favourites for the competition, or are you just going to be taking it one step at a time?
Berlin's a very solid team. It's sort of reminiscent to the kit that we played in the first qualifier, maybe a slightly better than that team. But I think there was similar strength. You had three really solid players on that team, but we had to be playing at quite a high level to compete with them, and even then we only just reverse swept them. So it was a really tight series. So I guess we're a little bit worried about Berlin, yeah. But it's possible. There's nothing that you can't do. It's definitely winnable.
Yeah,
it's definitely true. Kiel the same, to be fair.
Kiel did the same, yeah. Afterwards, it was just like a quick death is what they promised everyone else who would face them. As we'll have to see what happens in the coming weeks, but we won't even have to wait a week for the next broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. That, of course, has been Crimson of the Loughborough Lions. Thank you for joining us. And of course, it was a late finish, but congratulations on the series win over Sapiens of Roma, as that pretty much concludes our broadcast today. But as I say, we're not done for the week. We'll be back in just 2 days on Wednesday to do it all again, because we just figured out that once a week just wasn't often enough, and that we just love this too much, so we're doing it twice a week, as this will of course round out our broadcast for Monday. We hope you've had a great evening watching. I know we've had a great evening from just presenting as a whole, so have a good one, and of course we'll see you on Wednesday. That you would stick around. I guess time starts down. A king without his crown. Now I'm breaking, you're faking, girl. You never made a sound. Oh, wait. I'm tired of the pain.
started to fall, and where were you? How could I know you were falling too? Grabbing the wind, cutting my skin, but it's hard